La 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 la
live. TikTok, time to rock.
la
Good
la.
evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. And with me now is the Apostate Prophet. Some people are calling him the Apostate Prophet as if it's his fault this time that we're late. No, I was just loading all the sources into my computer because we're going to be looking up, we're going to be checking out some sources, ladies and gentlemen. Sources, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start by checking out. This kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? You sent it to me. You sent it to me. And Sheikh Uthman, out of nowhere, posts a response to, not sure what to call it, the two Marys problem, but it's actually the two Marys or one Mary problem in the Quran. But he posted, let me pull it up here. Let me show you
the Mary paradox.
Let me show you the thumbnail. The Mary paradox. There you go. So he says, debunked in 2 minutes, Mary, sister of Aaron? He puts a question mark on it. What are you talking about? The Quran calls her Mary, sister of Aaron. So what are you questioning it for, Sheikh Uthman? And it's an alleged contradiction in the Quran, blah, blah, blah. But he puts me and Sam on the thumbnail in a classroom. Quran error, Aaron's sister. And so...
Here's the funny thing. I sent you the video, and I sent you the link to it. And I said, hey, here's our next topic. But the funny thing is, I clicked on the video. I listened for like 5 seconds or so. And then I thought, okay, no need to listen any further. It's 2 minutes long. I'll send it to David. I'm pretty sure. I haven't watched it, but I think I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to give the standard response. Right? Do you want me to guess?
Yeah, you can guess. I have to say his response is worse than I expect. Like, I think I could take some time and give a better response than him. So he gave a very weak response. But what do you think his response is going to be? His response
is probably going to be that simply that back in the day, in the time of Mary, it was a custom. It was normal to refer to a woman by the name of her ancestor or something, or of somebody that she's related to spiritually or something like that, because that's what Muhammad said.
That's what Muhammad said. He gave an even weaker response. He just said, "Oh, look, there are all these people in the Bible named Mary. So why would you think it's strange if there's other Marys and other people named Aaron?" So he wasn't even talking about an ancestor, if I recall correctly, because I just kind of skimmed through it. It was only 2 minutes.
Really?
But yeah, he's saying that Mary must have had an actual brother named Aaron. But he left out a missing piece of the pie, namely that she is also, according to the Quran, the daughter of Imran, which is the Arabic version of Amram, which is the father of Moses and Aaron and Miriam. That's kind of the problem. So he's kind of straw manning in that he's not giving like the full what the actual argument is. It's not just, oh, sister of Aaron. It's sister of Aaron and daughter of Imran. And there are other factors. Namely, Muhammad's companions didn't know that this is a problem. They had no clue about it until Christians and other people challenged them about it. And then Muhammad came up with the answer. Oh, yes, that's how they did it back then. That's how they did it. Muhammad's explanation always comes after his followers get blasted for something stupid he said. Hey, check this out. Sir Dr. Whitemeat. That's funny. We just mentioned you, Sir Dr. Whitemeat, right before the show. Not you in particular, the great scholar, Sir Whitemeat, that Dr. Zakir Naik made up when he was trying to explain something. He goes, Sir Whitemeat was the great Sir Whitemeat. But AP was playing a little clip of Candace Owens saying that there was this Jewish scholar, Dr. Bacon. And I was like, Bacon? Dr. Bacon? What? A Jewish guy named Bacon? That's kind of funny.
By the way, I have no idea who that is. I saw that clip earlier by Candace Owens where she's talking to Tristan Tate, of course, the two complete frauds and ignoramuses in one room, sitting across from each other, and she's saying that, saying something about Sigmund Freud, and saying so Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist, and they believe in bisexuality, and they worship Baphomet. And I read this in a book by a Jewish historian, David Bacon, and man, I could go on 5-hour live streams just about this little section, just about what I just said, right? Because it's so ridiculously
the
stupid.
The atheist Sigmund Freud, who wrote an entire book on the psychology of religion and how it's basically people's need for this is where they get the modern argument of sky daddy, sky daddy, sky daddy. That was Freud's response. You grow up, you have a need for the protection of your father. But then you get older, but you still have that childish need for a father, and so you believe that there's this cosmic heavenly father, and so on. That's his explanation. But this is the guy who is deep into Baphomet worship, you're saying?
Yes, and he's even a Kabbalist, and apparently Kabbalists are people who believe in bisexuality and who worship Baphomet.
That's what they do. And I heard all this, and I got all this from my good friend Nick Fuentes, and he told me all about this.
Kabbalah might sound like a very, very exotic and very mysterious thing when you're not familiar with the topic. And I'm pretty sure that she's not familiar with the topic at all. She just hears things left and right. But then her source is a Jewish historian named David Bacon, and I'm like, wait a minute. Could it be that it's just David Bacon? I'm searching. I can't find any such person. I almost want to get in touch with her and ask her who she means.
Message her. Well, you can't message her because you're blocked. But someone who's not blocked, ask her who this David Bacon. Because I don't know. There could be. I don't know what people's names are and so on. But I'd like to see this. I'd like to find this scholar who says this, because that would be interesting stuff. The point is for AP to look this stuff up, we have to know who this guy is so AP can find his book. It just sounds weird. David Bacon. That's like, and his partner, Dr. Ham Sandwich.
Yeah, I'm just checking the transcript, and even that says David Bacon. So.
And Ben Porkenstein. It sounds. That's the point. It sounds made up. It's like we have to see who it actually is. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Sir Dr. Whitemeat here says, you see Sam and Jay dominate in their debate? No, I have not, but I can tell you that without, like, Sam versus any 5 of these guys would dominate. If you toss Jay in there, who's also a great debater, I can't imagine them finding two guys who could take on Sam and Jay. And so as much as I'm sure they got crushed, I'm sure you'll see Muslims claiming victory no matter what. Oh, they were humiliated. But then you'll have more honest Muslims saying, okay, yeah, but these guys weren't the best. If you get better guys in there, then they'll do a better job. But we have to figure out what we want to do. I wouldn't mind. I mean, again, I haven't seen it yet, but I wouldn't mind just going through the entire thing.
Yeah, I would totally view the whole thing. I asked Jay, I said, hey, is there any specific part that is good that you think we should review or something? He said, it was kind of all over the place. It was all good and interesting. So I don't know. Maybe he's open to it. Maybe we could all review it together or something.
Yeah, the possibility would be we do one really long live stream. Now it's like a 3-hour debate. We do one really long live stream, like 15 hours going through it. We could do that. I would guess we would watch it ahead of time, figure out where the breaking points are, and do like 3 or 4 parts and go through all of it. Like watch an hour during one live stream, comment on it, watch another hour. Anyway, we'll have to check it out and figure it out. But yes, guys, we will, I'm sure, be going through either all of that, probably all of that, but possibly parts of it.
If my rabbi, Mr. David Bacon, allows it, yes, we will do it.
and if Candace Owens' favorite Rabbi Porkenstein, that she heard about through her careful research with Nick Fuentes. It's going to be funny because she's going to be like, it's right. Look, the book's right here, idiot. And we're going to be like, oh, yeah, there he is, David Bacon right there.
I know. Well, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. So, guys, we have, yes, we will be covering that, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like we got a bunch of stuff to cover in upcoming live streams because you want to cover the Candace Owens stuff because she keeps getting nuttier and nuttier by the day. And this is what happens when someone is connected to a bunch of others who can kind of force her to keep her craziness in check, right? In other words, if AP's a little crazy, but he knows we're doing live streams together, he might have to dial back the crazy. And then all of a sudden, if you're just completely detached from all the influences that keep you from fully expressing how absolutely crazy you are, and you're just, oh, I'm free now. And then you just, whoa, people can go off the deep end real quick, like real quick, like.
Yeah.
So, guys, yes, we'll be covering a bunch of that stuff here coming up. But today we wanted to jump on this video by Sheikh Uthman. Thank you, Sheikh Uthman. We haven't talked about the Mary and Miriam problem in a long time, so glad you brought it up. You did a crap job of responding to it. We're going to watch your response, Sheikh Uthman. Then we're going to go through the sources and show what you left out of the argument, Mr. Strawman. And then we're going to watch your response again after everyone has seen the sources, and we'll probably poll the viewers and see whether they think you actually answered the argument. But AP,
yes,
what do we think of Sheikh Uthman?
Oh, he's a wonderful person. He's a wonderful person. He's So Sheikh Uthman is one of the great scholars of our time and one of the great thinkers of our time. And I would say that I could carefully say that somebody as honest and as consistent and friendly and down to earth and somebody just so humble like him, who's always down.
The humblest narcissist I know.
Yeah, who will challenge you to a debate, and then once you accept the debate, who will actually follow up and do the debate with you.
Yeah.
Somebody like him, he will definitely be remembered in history as one of the greatest, most honest scholars ever.
And he's the guy. He's the one with the most nicknames. He's the one with the most nicknames. They call him Sheikh Ibn Fibbin. They call him Sheikh Ibn Footnote. There's Sheikh Ibn Smollett, Sheikh Ibn Ketchup, Sheikh Ibn Zina, all that stuff. All that stuff. He's got all the nicknames. They call him Sheikh Ibn Fibbin because he will like instantly lie, and sometimes people actually go look up what he claimed and then come back to him, and then turns out he's lying, and then he'll make excuses for, oh, well, I didn't know. And that's why they called him Sheikh Ibn Footnote. God Logic just totally busted him. He's like, oh, it's right here in the Hadith. And anyway, God Logic came back and said, hey, what does this say right here? What's it say? This is actually a footnote. And it doesn't even say what you said it said. So there's that. There's
I always thought of making a diss track for Sheikh Uthman and starting it with Ibn Fibbin, who are you kidding? Then
Sheikh Ibn Fibbin, who are you kidding? Diss track. And they call him Sheikh Ibn Ketchup and Sheikh Ibn Smollett for the same thing. He's done that before. I was talking to him one day, and then all of a sudden one of his fans comes up. I mean, one of his other Dawah guys there comes up. Sheikh Uthman, look at the note that they have left upon your car. And it was like, Sheikh Uthman, you must stop your powerful Dawah. We're not going to allow you to do this powerful Dawah. And Sheikh Uthman, you see, they're trying to stop the Dawah. Everyone needs to support my work. Right.
And then coincidentally, just after that, somebody also attached a note to my car saying, Apostate Prophet, stop now or we kill you. Or something.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then, of course, he realized that his followers were too dumb to spot obvious fakes like that. So what did he do after that? He covered himself in fake blood. They're saying it's ketchup. It wasn't. It was fake blood. I've used lots of fake blood over the year. Lots of people who are trained in paramedics, trained to be paramedics and stuff. They have to deal with fake blood during their training and so on. And then you have people who are familiar with it from, like the stage and so on. Everyone who's ever dealt with fake blood is like, that is fake blood. And they didn't even apply it properly because he supposedly got attacked by an Islamophobe, right? Who stabbed him. But you can see on the picture where it was like sprayed onto him. That's not how blood works, right? If blood is seeping out of a wound, it just, the spot gets bigger and bigger and runs down by gravity and so on. This had like clearly been squirted on him with a spray bottle. It was like it was spritz. There was fake blood spritz on him. Anyway, that got he instantly posted that, and then like when he was posting, and where are David Wood and the Apostate Prophet? What, they don't care? Why don't? I was like, what? I literally just found out from you saying it.
And I mentioned this before, but this is actually he actually in the video where he announces that he was stabbed. He is saying, "Where are David Wood and Apos? Why are they not speaking up?" This is actually in the video where he's announcing that he has been stabbed. So we can't even know at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then his followers, oh, yes, we must support Sheikh Uthman. Yes, yes. And then he had one recently. We were thinking about reenacting it. It was so lame, but a random guy runs up and he's like, I'm going to throw this Quran on the ground. And Sheikh Uthman, hey, you stop right there. Sit down so I can preach you dawah. And the guy's like, oh, okay, I'll sit here for you to do dawah. It was so powerful to anyone who's a complete, utter, total moron. And then in addition to all that, they call him Sheikh Ibn Zina, because he, at least according to what his buddy claims, his buddy sent his wife to Sheikh Uthman for marital counseling. Then Sheikh Uthman responded, said, she don't want to be with you anymore, so bye. But the guy was married to her. And then Sheikh Uthman started banging her. And so Sheikh Uthman was married to her. And so, but she was still married. So this lady was married to two people at the same time. And that's why people call him Sheikh Ibn Zina. But guess what? Does not hurt his popularity at all. It's the same with Andrew Tate. It's the same with Muhammad Hijab. It's the same with Ali Dawah. It doesn't matter how stupid and insane their antics are. It doesn't matter how what they do, as long as they claim to be crushing the kuffar. People will support them no matter what. Why? These are all people who've been trained to think of Muhammad as the greatest man who, even though he's banging a little girl and all these other things, he's still the greatest man ever. Guess what? You could do the worst things ever and still be the greatest man ever in Islam. So guess what? The Dawah fans, they do not care. What's up?
While you were talking on the side, I quickly Googled some keywords because my mind is kind of stuck on the whole Kabbalah, Candace Owens
you need to look up
thing.
David Bacon.
So I just put in some keywords into Google. I put Kabbalah, bisexuality, Baphomet, Freud, David Bacon. And the first result that pops up is the Jewish Reddit forum going, guys, Candace Owens just said some really crazy, weird stuff about us. And I have no idea who David Bacon is. It sounds like a very crazy
everyone knows David Bacon.
For a made-up Jewish person. Does anybody know what book she's talking about? And everyone is like, nope. That sounds totally fake. So,
well, everyone's going to be embarrassed when she produces the book and says, look, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here with Sir Whitemeat and Rabbi David Bacon.
Why do people make people like Candace Owens famous? Why is this is the problem? This is the problem when you make people famous just because there is something about them that just appeals currently to an agenda that you're following. In her case, it is because she was a black liberal who turned Republican and who started bashing the Democratic Party and so on. And I was like, oh yeah, perfect. She's articulate and she's black and she's on our side. Let's take her and elevate her. That's why she's famous. For no other reason at all. That is why she's famous. And the problem is, she always had a horrible personality. Was always an opportunist. Always completely ignorant.
You're the biggest hater I've ever met in my life.
When you elevate such people, this is the problem. When you elevate such people, you can get to results like these, where those people get nasty, drift away from you, and start doing some really, really nasty stuff with their personality and their opportunism and whatever it is.
Hey, Pete, we are here to talk about Sheikh Uthman, not Candace. But I want to point out to everyone, these are actually connected. Everything AP just said is completely relevant to what we're discussing. Why? Because we're talking about the Dawah guys. And anyone who comes along thumping his chest, I will humiliate the kuffar, they elevate him. Doesn't matter. Andrew Tate can be a brand new guy like Andrew Tate can be. Sneako, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're banging your Dawa buddy's wife. Doesn't matter if you're staging hate crimes against yourself. Doesn't matter what you do. They will prop you up. Even though we're sitting there looking at this, we're looking at this going, this is not going to work out for you down the road. Because if you guys are programming this guy to think that he can get away with anything, no matter what, and you'll still support him, this is a guy who's going to keep doing stuff, and this is going to blow up in your face. Anyway, it's pretty much the same thing with someone like Candace Owens, right? Oh, we're propping this person up. This person's going to be our new hero that we rally around. And if you're watching going, I think there's some personality issues here that are going to cause that to be a problem in the future. And you do it anyway, and then it blows up in your face. And then you're humiliated. You're humiliated. All right, let's take a couple super chats. Let's take a few super chats, then we'll jump into this video by Sheikh Uthman and see what the problem is. Day 42, under the communist regime in Britain, who'd have guessed the thought police would suck so much? Me. Appreciate you speaking up for us on X. God bless. Yeah, I have to say, I mean, as much as I thought this was not going to go well, they dialed it up. They dialed it up faster than I thought, as far as just like bragging about running around locking all these protesters up and stuff like that. I thought they would ease into it more, but nope, they just declared World War III on you guys.
Yeah.
Ever thought of a yes, indeed, you'll be humiliated. Ever thought of a sketch featuring a community of Muslim jinns where the jinn imam turns out to be Satan? Should be consistent with Islam. Yeah, jinns can actually convert to Islam, so
yeah,
it might.
yeah.
Ave Maria. Yeah, oh, there's about to be a bunch of stuff about Mary here. Mike Winger is the kind of guy to say, I guess it's free when a Spock shirt has no price tag at the comic book store. You know what's funny? That actually happened to me at it was either Lowe's or Home Depot. But I bought these, I bought some giant 8x10 particle board things for something. I don't even remember what it was for. And I got out and, I mean, they scanned them and stuff. And they said, we have no record of this being in our system. And I go, what do you want me to do? He goes, just take them. They're not in our system. I was like, okay. Thought that was cool. Let's see. Steven Seagal drank whiskey out of a jihadist tears mug with a Quran straw in 1987. False. That was Chuck Norris. That one Jewish.
Really? Yeah, I knew that.
That one Jewish girl says, "Yo, D Wood, when will Broke Butt Prophet be in theaters?" You got to do it. You got to do something. It won't be in theaters. It won't be in theaters, but it could be online. The problem is vocab isn't going to want to do that. We would actually have to get a different person to play Prophet Muhammad. My 4-year-old son can't stop singing. We're proud of that. Well, he's on his way to loving Ali Dawa's squeaky, squeaky voice. It makes sense why kids would love Ali Dawa's voice, right? He sounds like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Will you please look at the comment section from the recent debate on Fresh and Fit? It's so one-sided. Yeah, again, I haven't watched the debate. I did look at the... this is funny. I did look at the comments, and you see the comments at the beginning were all, Sam and Jay crushed them. So I went to the new comments, because then you see what people are saying. But over and over again, this guy was posting, as an atheist, I have to say the Muslims had better arguments. Guess what happened, AP?
What?
This is a guy in the comment section of that debate. He says, as an atheist, I can say the Muslims clearly won. What do you think happened when I clicked on that guy's channel?
You found that they're following all the Dawah channels.
Oh, yeah, but he actually had like tons of videos like on the glories of Fajr prayers and responses to all the Islamophobes. And it's like, oh, my goodness, they're not even trying to hide it. That's an ongoing issue. Matter of fact, guys, whenever you see, as an atheist, I can say the Muslims won. In theory, it could be true, but like 9 times out of 10, it's actually a Muslim channel. They have no problem lying, guys. They just don't. They think as long as I'm helping my religion by lying, pretending to be an atheist, when any idiot can click on my channel and see that it's all filled with Muslim propaganda. Why is this? Why is this so common in Islam? I think it has something to do with them worshiping a guy who brags about being the best of deceivers.
Islam doesn't have quite the same idea of that you're always supposed to speak truth no matter what. The the whole morality of being truthful to everyone and being just to everyone in your treatment, it doesn't quite have the same emphasis on morality as you have in the Christian culture, for example.
Yeah, morality seems to be, it's like redefined. It's defined as whatever helps Islam is good and whatever hurts Islam is bad. And so if you're lying to help Islam, it's good. What happened to AP's planned stream about Aladdin? You've already talked about that a bit, but it seems you've gone back and forth on whether you want to respond to him, and it sounds like now you don't, even though I'm like, oh, come on, let's make fun of him.
Yeah, I also coordinated with some other people back and forth on is it even worth it? Is it even what's the purpose and all that? And I just decided that I don't want to do that right now and don't want to give it that much attention
because you've been humiliated.
If I want to do anything at all, I might just make a video.
You don't make videos anymore.
I know, but I might just it just reminds me of Eminem's Kill Shot. Maybe I'll just get into that mood.
Yeah, or you're like, oh, this guy insulted me, I will respond to him. And then you watch his stuff and he's like, oh no, his arguments are airtight. I can't respond to this. Let me pretend I don't want to.
Or I watch it because I'm very offended by it, and then in the end I'm like, whoa, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Wow, I need to change.
I convert to Aladinism.
No, I just can't. Again, I've only seen that one little bit that we watched at some point when we were going through stuff when he was blasting you some other time. But yeah, for some reason I can't stand the guys who here are my personal preferences on how to do things. Therefore, this is how everyone else needs to do them, and then they run out and cause division. I'm saying you got those guys everywhere. So you got them in the ex-Muslim community, you got them in Islam, you got them in Christianity. There's all these people. Here's how I do things. Therefore, I need to go and tell you all to do things the exact same way. And I will do what? I'll cause division, and everyone who agrees with me, they're going to be against you. And anyway, they just divide everything up and ruin everything because that seems narcissistic too. Here's how I do things. This is how things work in my mind. Therefore, everyone must be exactly the same as me. Bunch of nonsense. David, I have noticed that many Muslims believe that because Christians don't violently impose our religion on others, we are weak. Therefore, Islam's true. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. You're weak. You don't go out and slaughter people in the name of Jesus, since he commanded you not to. You see, that's weak. Meanwhile, we flip out, we throw tantrums over a cartoon and slaughter people because our God is so weak that he needs us to go around killing. You see, our religion is strong.
Hey, this is going to be very funny. I have to go back to the topic one more time.
Are you talking about Candace Owens?
Yeah, but you predicted it. So I searched a little bit deeper. I used my magical advanced searching skills to search a little bit deeper to find out what she's referring to. And the joke's on us. There is actually an author, a Jewish psychologist by the name of David Bakan, which is like so Bakan. Mm-hmm. And he actually wrote a book called Sigmund Freud and the Jewish Mystical Tradition. But the joke's on us only very, very briefly, because I just got the book and I immediately made a word search for it and got a summary of it, went through bits of it. We'll read it later on. Here's the funny thing. I searched for the word Baphomet. It is not mentioned a single time in the book. The book is not critical of Sigmund Freud, or it doesn't suggest that Kabbalah is related to weird sexual fantasies or pedophilia or things like that. On the contrary, it says that Sigmund Freud, despite being an atheist, because he grew up in a family that was very much influenced by mystical Jewish traditions, might have been influenced in his thinking of humans as combining the male and female aspects and things like that. So it is not at all a book that is bashing Sigmund Freud or Jewish people or Kabbalah or anything like that. It just points out fascinations and analyzes the guy's deep thoughts, and also says nothing about demon worship. So she made this completely up.
No. Who are we going to believe? Candace Owens, the expert on all things Jewish, or AP? Like, seriously.
This deserves a video, man.
Narrated Biden, my jihad is Corn Pop. And Corn Pop is a bad dude. Met some Arabic-speaking Lebanese Christians. They showed me the Arabic of Surah 931 puts the Messiah on the same level as Allah. Amazing stuff. Yeah, I've seen that over and over again. I did have I was sitting with an Egyptian Christian once, and I showed him the Arabic, and I said, is this putting Jesus with Allah? And he said no, it's kind of an awkward construction, but no. Keep in mind that does not mean he's right. It means that before I decide, I'm going to need to sit down with several Arabic speaking Christians to go through this and check out the responses of some Muslims. So yeah, point is I'm not sure who's right on that yet. Knows Too Much said, you guys should consider debating Muhammad Diha relations with one of the Dawa clowns. Muslims need to know it's a win-win scenario. Yep, any Muslim who wants to defend Muhammad's relationship with Diha and actually show us that it's the angel Gabriel and not Muhammad getting banged by his hot buddy, happy to go through that. David, please make a Quran trap remix for stream intros so that your streams can finally be superior to AP's. Yeah, it's not coming up with the music. I can do that pretty easily, and I've got music that I like, although there's a couple things I would like better that I don't have. But it's mainly, I don't know how to play it at the beginning. It might be something that would take me 5 minutes to figure out. I don't know. I will get some music, ladies and gentlemen. Narrated Ibn Footnote, my jihad is notes on cars. What's yours? Isn't that funny? That place is huge. There's like this giant parking lot, but these guys know Sheikh Uthman's cars, you see. Muhammad is carved into the wall of the U.S. Supreme Court because he is a good lawmaker. That is true. He's one of the best. What's the evolution of Momo hijab? Momo niqab. Be a good one. Let's see. Hijab put an upside-down flower pot on his furry... Ibn? What? What's this? Do you know what this means? Hijab put an upside-down flower pot on his furry IBN? What is that? What's IBN?
I don't know.
Ibn? You know all the weird...
No.
AP looks like he's going to start singing Crawling in My Skin with that hair. NES Ivan says, hey, AP, since you into Psalms, now you should listen to Psalm 121 by Hila ben David in Hebrew.
Who?
Do it. Do it. Do it.
I shall.
Screenshot that. Screenshot. As a matter of fact, I'm going to screenshot it because I'd like to hear it too.
No, I'll just search for it and put it on my watch later list. That's it.
Let's see. On Sheikh Uthman, his buddy runs lives on TikTok demanding Uthman step down for stealing his wife. Why should he step down just because he stole a dude's wife and was banging her while the other guy's married to her? It doesn't matter. Allah doesn't care as long as you're crushing the kuffar. You get a free pass.
You got your wife, man. Get over it.
Look at all the special moral privileges Allah gave to Muhammad because he's Muhammad. What do you think about the greatest da'is of our time? What should they have? Far more, far more, far more. Matter of fact, you actually see that in Muslim sources. There was a time like the khummas, the war booty had to be divided up by Muhammad before anyone could touch it. But Ali just instantly started having sex with one of the slave girls, and then it gets brought to Muhammad. What the heck, man? You haven't even divided up the war booty yet, and Ali's already over there picking out a girl for himself and banging her. What's going on here? And Muhammad's like, what do you want me to do? He deserves much more than this. So it's like, he's important to me, therefore he gets special privileges. That's how things work in Islam.
That's how it should be.
Super base, super base. AP and or D-Wood, are you ever going to do a deep dive on Candace? Are you serious? AP can't stop talking about Candace. We're here to talk about Sheikh Uthman's response to the two Marys problem in the Quran, and AP can't stop talking about Candace, and now you're putting it back in his head. She's misleading a ton of Christians who buy her nonsense. She marries truth to lies.
Here's the thing. On the one hand, it is very, very, very disheartening to see lots of people actually fall for dumb stuff like that. On the other hand, I sometimes think, you know what, if something so stupid exists and people actually fall for it, then, you know, what am I going to do about that? Mm-hmm. But then also, I think it is actually it is a moral issue as well, and it is something that I feel strongly about. I do want to go and deeply analyze the things that she has said for months now, and debunk them and destroy her. And there's so much.
You see that? Destroy her. Destroy her. Perfect follow-up. Perfect follow-up. Why does AP hate strong, independent black women? Literally talking about destroying them right here.
In fact, In fact, I would even go back and demonstrate to people that you could that this is not a recent change. She has always been like this. You could go back for years back and find so much garbage that she spewed, and destroy her over it. And the same people who say that who say
Destroyed the
now that she
strong,
has,
independent black woman.
the same people who say now, oh, she was once good, but now she has gone mad and all that, supported her at that time. She was always like this. I do want to make such a thing. The only thing that is holding me back is my long-lasting curse of having the inability of making videos.
Yeah.
Once I can break that,
You do
I
need
would
to break that, man. I understand the burnout. It's happened to me multiple times, but you've had plenty of time to recover. You're supposed to recover. And I've told you before, just force yourself by sheer power of will to make a couple, and then it will kick in again. It'll kick in again because that video will spread, and then you'll like the feedback and so on, and then you'll want to make another one. Watch.
inshallah.
So do that. One more, and then we got more super chats. We're going to jump into this video. Dr. David, look right here. You got the answer. David Bacon, Bakan. She definitely mispronounced it. I wonder how you pronounce it. Bacon, or something. Bacon, something like that.
Yeah, but she also completely misrepresents the book. It's. Wow.
Then, by the way, that's a perfect response. Just take the clips of what she explains that this says, and you actually go through passages in the book which say something completely different. Mm-hmm. And then she's humiliated because guess what? If you don't do it, no one's going to do it. No one's going to do it. All right, you ready? You ready for some powerful dawah?
That makes me angry when you say that, because I know that. Mm-hmm. I know that. And it's so obvious. A fraud watched by so many thousands of people, obviously saying so many fraudulent things, and you could sit down and point them out, and they're so clear, mm-hmm. and so many people could use their platform to say something about it. But it comes down to people like us, who will not have the same reach as somebody of great significance who could sit down and respond to this and point this out and take her down. You know,
that's why everyone has to do a little part, right? Like you've got Murdered by Crayons and those channels over there that are exposing her helping the Tates. And apparently, I haven't seen it, but apparently she was like praising the Tates on the success of Hustlers University, which was that's literally their program for training guys to traffic girls and turn them into porn girls for them. Right. And she's praising them for the success of that and so on. So anyway, point is, Murdered by Crayons and so on, they'll expose that stuff. But anytime you're doing a little part, it works together as part of the big response to her.
At the same time, she was bashing and totally canceling the adult actress MK because she did adult entertainment videos in the past and is still today uploading slightly suggestive videos on platforms. That's why unacceptable. You can't take any advice from her. How could you?
Hey, I bet she changed her mind.
I bet the guy who built the whole empire of pornography, he's like, yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, it is a different attitude. It's like, oh, if you're a guy and you're using women to exploit them for porn and so on, then you're great. Is just do it. Take advantage of those girls and make your money. If you're a woman who does porn, then you're bad and evil and pathetic and disgusting. Although I have to wonder if Candace's perspective on Miss MK has changed after Miss MK was, remember after the October 7th attacks, and she was going, why, come on, turn your phone sideways. We want better footage. She wanted
terrorists.
She wanted better footage of the murder of hundreds and hundreds of Jews. Anyway, good stuff. There's no way this doesn't blow up in everyone's faces here, but check this out. Sheikh Uthman, everyone. You have Sheikh Uthman responding to the two marriage problems. So again, we're going to watch this. Then we're going to go through what the sources actually say. And then we're going to watch it again. And the goal here, ladies and gentlemen, the goal here is for everyone to learn the argument really well. And you can write down these sources, use screenshots, because this is I wouldn't say this is the worst problem in the Quran. There are some hypothetical... they're ad hoc because they're just made up responses that are meant to solve the problem. But they can make up responses to this. But the responses look pretty weak. Anyway, here we go. Sheikh Uthman.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wasalam ala Rasulullah. The Quran is so perfect and Islam is so perfect that the enemies of Islam, the Christian apologists, atheists, and others, they can't come up with any criticism. So when we
Man.
The Quran is so perfect that the enemies of Islam can't come up with any criticism. Sheikh Uthman, are you drunk? Are you drunk? We have endless criticisms of the Quran. We have, how many hundreds of videos do we have criticizing the Quran? They can't come up with a criticism because it's so powerful. This is dawah at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. You tell a bunch of fans. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call Islam's 99-1 rule. If you know that 99% of your viewers are never going to question anything you're saying, you can say whatever you want. The Quran is so strong, they can't come up with any criticisms.
This is not even just an empty claim. This is just objectively wrong.
Yeah.
Him saying that the enemies of Islam, it is so perfect that the enemies of Islam can't come up with any criticism. You can acknowledge, if you are so biased, that people come up with criticism, but that criticism is false or wrong, or that it fails. But to say that they can't come up with any criticism because it's perfect, this is just lying. I'm not sure if you are doing this on purpose, Sheikh Uthman, because you are normally a very honest and very reliable person, but that's incredibly stupid. And the thing is, imagine I sit here and I did a lot of stupid and wrong things, and I lied a lot throughout my life, and people now make videos about me and point out all the lies, and I say, no, this is wrong, 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 that is wrong, that is wrong. All of them I have debunked, but I haven't actually debunked them. I just found excuses for them. And now I say, you see, I'm so perfect, I'm so pure and so perfect and so great that they can't have a single criticism of me. Alhamdulillah, this shows that I'm so truthful and reliable.
Yeah. and that's what happens with the Quran. It's hey, look, it says here that Dhul Qarnayn, Alexander the Great, who's a devout Muslim, even though he's the most pagan who's ever existed, traveled so far west he found the place where the sun sets. And then what do? Oh no, it's just saying that he saw an optical illusion on a pool of water, and that's not Alexander the Great, even though it obviously is, and it matches up with the Alexander romances where Muhammad clearly stole it. It's not about Alexander because he definitely wasn't a Muslim. And what they mean when they respond to things, they say some things that are convincing to their fans because their fans will not question anything they say. And it's not convincing to anyone else. But yeah, we've got some criticism, Sheikh Uthman. In fact, Sheikh Uthman, since you're responding to our arguments, the next one we'd like you to cover is Surah 9, verse 30, saying that Jews call Ezra the son of Allah, and the companion hadith, which say that at the judgment, Jews will be asked why they worshipped Ezra. At the judgment. That's going to be the claim against Jews. So go ahead and respond to us and show this, because we've never been able to find a Jew who calls Ezra the son of God or who worships Ezra. In fact, when we ask Ezra's about that, they're like, who's Ezra? That's the response we get.
No, you're getting this wrong. There were lots of Jews who were saying Ezra is the son of Allah, but the Muslims killed them all. That's why they don't exist anymore.
Yep.
That's the explanation.
That's what happened. All right. Sheikh Uthman, everyone.
show them clear contradictions in the Bible where it's, 21 and
the Bible
20
that's
and
affirmed
8
by
and
your
18
prophet?
and 22 and 42. So many clear contradictions that they have no responses.
Hey, wait a minute. Contradictions in the Bible. That's another thing we'd like you to explain, Sheikh Uthman, why your God and your prophet affirmed the inspiration, preservation, and authority of these books that you keep attacking. It is really, really weird to us. But, we don't have any criticisms.
What do? They come up with the most foolish arguments against the Quran. They claim there are contradictions in the Quran. There are absolutely none. Now, some of the ones they mention are so funny that it shows you the perfection of the Quran, that how perfect is it that they can't come up with anything better.
Oh, this is interesting. So he's saying this is like a bad one. This is like a glaringly bad argument that we use. So this is good.
One of the ones they come up with is
I have to disagree. I must say, I made 2 videos about this. One of them has like 600,000 views or so. It's called One Mistake Destroys Islam. And I think it is still personally one of my favorites. And I think this is one of the greatest arguments and it is just impossible to debunk, that which show that Islam is false. It's a very strong.
Yeah, and guess what? Thank you. That's why that's why we're so grateful to Sheikh Uthman. He brought this back up. We haven't been using it recently, but now for anyone who's not familiar with it, or people who have heard of it but they don't know what sources this is actually based on, we're going to go through it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through all the main stuff, and then you guys will get to decide whether Sheikh Uthman has successfully answered this.
They say the Quran calls Miriam Ukht Harun, that Mary was a sister of Aaron.
Yeah.
They say, oh, Aaron, the brother of Moses, was so long ago. How could she be the sister of Aaron? There's more than one person named Harun. This is so childish.
So that's his response. So you're familiar with you could call someone, because that's probably the one you're talking about. That's the most common one, right? It's calling you sister of Aaron because it's like saying, hey, they'll either say you're a descendant of Aaron, that she was a descendant of Aaron, or that it's just talking about, morally, you're supposed to be like Aaron and so on. And here he's just saying, no, it's a different Aaron. She's the sister. Mary is the sister of a different Aaron here. So this is bringing up now. So of course the obvious question would be, hey guys, does the Quran mention that there's this other Aaron? Does it talk? Like, why is it bringing up this other Aaron without explaining things? But this is Sheikh Uthman laughing at this. We're going to see some problems because he is not scratching the surface of this problem.
And this is not something we're coming up with some kind of answers with. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, 14 and a half centuries ago was asked about this particular verse. And the hadith in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, the authentic narration, the Christians of Najran, they asked the Prophet Muhammad that how could Mary be the sister of Aaron? So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained. He said, look, the children of Israel used to name their children after the prophets and the pious people. So it's not the same Aaron. Now, just to illustrate that point, in the Bible, you have so many Marys. You have Mary, the mother of Jesus. You have Mary of Magdalene. You have Mary of Bethany. You have Mary, the mother of James. You have Mary of Cleopas. You have the mother of John Mark. And you have the Mary of Rome. These are just a few Marys I can name off the top of my head. Now imagine if we were sitting there going, how could Mary be the mother of Jesus if she's a follower like Mary Magdalene? Well, obviously they're not the same Mary.
By the way, notice the Bible distinguishes between various Marys. Right? The Bible's clear that Mary Magdalene is not Mary, the mother of Jesus. Just like it's clear that the Apostle John is not John the Baptist and so on. Right? Where's the Quran clear that this is a different Mary and a different Aaron and a different Imran? Where is that, Sheikh Uthman? Because you're just saying it. But let's see.
But did he mention Imran at all so far?
No. That's the problem. That's why this is a straw man, ladies and gentlemen. He's not answering the actual argument because he knows his followers are dumb. But we're not, Sheikh Uthman. We're going to call you on this stuff.
Same way, it's not the same Aaron. Harun, the brother of Musa is a long time ago, and Harun, the brother of Miriam, is much later. They would name their children after their prophets and their pious, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained. There are no contradictions in the Quran. This is explicit, clear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wow, man, this is absolutely horrible.
I told you it was worse. I told you it was worse than I thought it was going to be, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there is one way of handling this when nobody has ever asked about it, or this just came up and you're just giving a fresh response to it. I would at such a point expect a response like this. But after people have repeatedly talked about it, written about it, gave speeches about it, made videos about it, had debates about it, to sit there and seriously give such a response, such a horrible response, wow, man, it's just. There is so much to break down here. I don't know if you want to say something. I want to actually break down a few problems here with the entirety of this issue.
Yeah, I want to point out one problem with his response, apart from the straw man, meaning he has not touched what is in the actual sources or our real argument. That's why it's a straw man, right? Straw man is where you misrepresent the argument and then you attack your own misrepresentation of it. So according to his misrepresentation, our entire argument is just, hey, it says sister of Aaron. That can only mean one thing, sister of Aaron, because there's only one Aaron ever. That's not our argument. That's not our argument. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. The other problem, then you can say whatever you want as far as the problems with the video. Obviously, when you're identifying someone, you're not calling her Mary, you're calling her sister of Aaron. You do that with especially important figures, right? Like Jesus, son of David, right? They're emphasizing his connection, that he is of the lineage of David because the Messiah is going to be a descendant of David. So you name, when you, oh, son of this, son of that, you're emphasizing some important relationship. Otherwise, you can just say son of so-and-so, and it's just, you're identifying who this person is. Why are you calling her not by her father or her mother's name, but by her brother? And especially if it's a random brother that no one's ever heard of and we have no idea who this is, and we have no evidence of any brother of Mary ever being named Aaron. Why call her in the Quran, Allah's perfect speech? Call her, instead of calling her Mary, instead of saying Mary, daughter of so-and-so, you call her Mary, sister of Aaron. You call her sister of Aaron. If Aaron is some completely unknown figure, why is she being called that? And so I'd say his response, even if our argument was, it just says sister of Aaron, saying, oh, it's a different Aaron, that makes no sense. That makes no sense why she would be called in the Quran sister of Aaron if it's some Aaron we've never heard of. And he's so insignificant that why would you call her by that, right? The basis for calling you sister of so-and-so or brother of so-and-so would be this is a really important figure, which fits with Aaron, the brother of Moses. It does not fit at all with random guy that no one's ever heard of, so much so that we don't even know he existed, except for Sheikh Uthman's theory here. But what problems do you see?
The funny thing is, even according to the Muslim sources, right? Even according to the hadiths, you have Christians coming to Muhammad and or Christians coming to the Muslims and asking about this issue. They're saying, "Wait a minute, you guys say Mary, sister of Aaron, but Aaron and Mary lived a very, very long time apart. So why is this happening?" And then Muhammad has to make an explanation to this. This is very funny because whenever we mention an issue about the Quran, whenever we mention a problem about Islam, there are Muslims who will come and say, "Well, if this was a problem, if this was such a big problem, then why are you guys asking about this? Why didn't people in Muhammad's time? Why didn't people in the Quran's own time then complain about it? Obviously, they could have seen the problem, right? But nobody even saw this as a problem." Well, here in this case, we actually have an Islamic narration directly reporting that Christians who know, by the way, I mean, Muslims, humble yourselves for a minute. Christians always, and Jews always knew the tradition, the history, the genealogy, and everything about biblical figures much better than the Muslims. Muslims don't know crap about it. Muslims don't know anything. Open the Bible. The Bible is full of explaining this person, son of 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 this person, and so on, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is a tradition that was part of the Bible, where Jewish knowledge, Jewish scholarship is full of recording who descended from who, and the New Testament even has the same thing about Jesus. This is very, very common and very normal and very well known in the Jewish and Christian tradition. In Islam, nobody has any clue who these people were descended from. There is no such knowledge at all, except from a few things that the Quran mentions here and there, and then stuff that Muslims heard from Christians and Jews. That's it. That's all. That's all there is. When it comes to Aaron now, let's say Muhammad's excuse is accurate, and they were just referring to Mary, mother of Jesus, as sister of Aaron because they were somehow acknowledging some spiritual relationship between her and the great prophet Aaron. Or let's accept Sheikh Uthman's theory that Aaron was just probably maybe some random person, maybe some random guy who was the brother of Mary. His name was also Aaron. Okay. Is there any tradition anywhere anywhere at all which points at a brother named Aaron? Find it. Is there any tradition ever at all where any Christian ever refers to Mary as sister of Aaron, or sister of this, or sister of that? If so, find it. Secondly, what a huge coincidence, right? What a huge, enormous coincidence. We're just supposed to sit here and just think that Allah actually brought the Quran down and and put in it the words Mary, sister of Aaron, and knowing that it would immediately make us think, wait a minute, there's something wrong here, because there is another significant Mary who is actually the sister of the Aaron. What a giant coincidence that both of these Marys have a brother named Aaron, and that the Quran finds it so significant to mention that, but somehow this is some other Aaron, or this is just some spiritual connection. And this is the only time ever in the history of humankind that such a reference is used.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere.
What a giant coincidence! This looks like, if we say that Sheikh Uthman is right, and that the general Muslim explanation is right about the occurrence of Mary, sister of Aaron, in the Quran, then you know what this looks like to me? It looks like Allah is messing with us and deliberately wants us to doubt the Quran and to stop and to not believe in it. Something
like that.
But there's much more.
Little side note. If you recall those videos that guy was posting saying Uthman took his wife and now she's married to two guys because she never got divorced from that dude, and so she was married to two guys. The guy was figuring out, because he didn't know, she just left, and Sheikh Uthman told him on the phone, said, "Hey, she's done with you, leave her alone." And the guy's like, "What's going on? I'm still married to her and stuff." And then he finds out, because he knows her social media accounts, and she's posting all these videos about her new man that she's with. And this guy's like, "What are you talking? I'm married to you. We're not divorced." But he's giving the description. And the description is, okay, my husband's this famous Dawa guy. Here's what he does. Here's where he goes. Here's how old he is. And the guy's putting it together, and he's like, that's Sheikh Uthman. Like, every detail is Sheikh Uthman. And what's Sheikh Uthman's response? No, it's just a coincidence that he just sounds exactly like me in every single detail. To the point where the woman was like selling Sheikh Uthman's stuff, his mom's stuff, online, and the guy's like, that's Sheikh Uthman. Why are you saying that you're living with Sheikh Uthman's mom and selling all her stuff for her? How am I not, and this is the mother of your husband, how am I not supposed to conclude that this is Sheikh Uthman? No, it's coincidence. This is funny. If you're willing to believe that level of coincidence, which Sheikh Uthman's fans are, then this is no problem at all. Of course, it's just this other Aaron. Except there's more to it than that Sheikh Uthman conveniently left out. In other words, he didn't give you even a fraction of the problem. Yeah. He just pretended to respond to it. Why? Because Sheikh Uthman knows that when Muslims encounter this, the two Marys problem, when they encounter this, it's usually going to be people saying, hey, but the Quran calls Mary the sister of Aaron. That's a problem. So he just responds to that, not the full argument, because he doesn't want to expose his own fans to the full argument. He doesn't want his fans to know what the full argument is. So he's trying to protect the people who've heard about this but don't know what the actual argument is. But we're about to go through the sources. We'll take a few more super chats and we'll jump into the sources, ladies and gentlemen. What's up?
I'm going to send you a screenshot, and I want you to do something for once in your life and just put it on the screen later while we're having this live stream.
How are you going to send it to me?
Per email.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
It's not about Candace Owens, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
It's about Mary.
It's about what?
Mary.
Okay. All right. We'll check this out. All right. We'll go through some super chats and we'll check out sources, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, David Wood and AP. It's not lost on your dedicated fans who are Catholic that you picked this topic on this date of August 15th. There was nothing deliberate about this. It was...
What's August 15th?
He thinks we picked this date to discuss this for some reason. We didn't. It was the video came out a couple days ago. AP said we should do this. I said, okay, do you want to do it Wednesday or Thursday? He said Thursday. So that's the level of our planning.
What's with the August? Is it significant?
You're asking the wrong person. Sheikh Mapork Sword. Amazing how many attacks have occurred in response to the insults against Nabi Isa at the Paris Olympics. Insulted. A real bloodbath. Yeah, look at all the people who died. None.
Yeah.
AP and D Wood, opinion on Aussie ray gun breakdance.
Whomst?
I think that's at, they have breakdancing as an Olympic event, and it was the Australian woman was terrible, and everyone's making fun of her online. And apparently he wants us to make fun of her. Well, no, we will not make fun of people for terrible breakdancing. We'll make fun of people for terrible character.
August 15th is the Assumption of Mary. I don't even know what that means.
Quran says Allah is the best of breakdancers. Indeed, he is.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely picked this topic deliberately for today, for August 15th, just to honor Catholics. No, I really have no idea. It's nice that you think that, but yeah, no relation at all.
David, could you tell the D's Nuts prison story? Which one? There are so many. No, the regular one I point out is just that it was hilarious that so the guards would come in. They come in for count time multiple times per day, and everyone has to stand beside their bed, and then they go count every person to make sure everyone is where they need to be and that no one has escaped. And every day, a cop would come through the door and yell, "Count time!" And every day, multiple times per day, someone would yell, "Count these nuts!" And every day, for some reason, it was still funny to me.
That was funny.
That's the one joke that never ever gets old. Ash says, guys, please make sure to like the stream to show your support. I believe AP and D Wood work hard for a cause that benefits humanity. David works a bit harder, though, but still, that's true. The hardest working man in live streaming. Hi, guys, from Britanistan. Is this stage 2 jihad? When does stage 3 begin, and what is it? Maybe don't tell me. Stage 3 is where they can actually subjugate the entire population. They're not there yet. They're still relying on stupid politicians and useful idiots and so on. So,
but the problem is, it's like cancer, and when you are at stage 4, you should probably you're way too late to notice it and to be concerned about it. So.
Yeah. So the transition from stage 1 to stage 2 occurs when. In stage 1, people are claiming, no, Islam is wonderful and it's all peace and tolerance and we have no desire to do anything. And it's like full taqiyya mode. We have no intentions besides anything. Stage 2 is defensive jihad, where you're not subjugating the population, but you will pick up weapons in a heartbeat and warn people not to mess with you, which is exactly what we see now, right? I mean, they'll pick up weapons and march down the street with it and so on. So yes, Britain is entering stage 2. I've gotten requests to make a new version of 3 stages of jihad for this purpose, and I think I will.
Stage 4 is soon. Inshallah.
He says, Muslim world's reaction to female Algerian boxer. Not going to get a strong reaction because no one's still clear on exactly what the situation is, but I'm sure they're happy to have a champion boxer in Algeria. AP, that was a very based song you posted earlier.
Oh, thanks. I know. It was. Some people were mad about it. Some people were like, I'm an atheist and I'm an ex-Muslim and I followed you for so long and supported you all the time, but why would you share a religious song on your community? This hurts me and it makes me feel like genocide.
Good point. Yeah, cry more.
The funny thing is, at what point did you support me, and at what point did I change? Because for many years, for the longest time, in my oldest videos, I was playing religious stuff and praising religious stuff. So I just don't buy it when people comment like, "I supported you, but you have changed."
When you said you hated all people and all religions, and you wanted to kill them all in the name of Dawkins, and that's when I supported you. But now you've changed.
Look at my most watched videos. That some of them have religious music in them at the end, or me praising religious stuff in them. And that was long time ago. So when somebody says, I supported you, but this, I think, why am I supposed to take you seriously when you are not even being truthful about your support for me, and then using that?
All right. Are sports haram in the traditional Muslim world? I don't know. I know they have games.
Depends on the
They have
sport.
rules. Yeah, they have rules against certain things and games of chance and so on. I don't know about sports in general.
Yeah, it depends on whatever you do. You're supposed to spend your time with better things like fighting and deflowering virgins and stuff like that.
Yeah, I bet they're totally fine with sports that help you get ready for jihad.
Yeah, jihad. I sent you the screenshot. Anyway,
Right on.
continue.
Go through a couple more and then we'll jump back into the sources. Hello, Drywood and AP. If the Quran is the perfect words of God, how do Muslims justify needing the Hadith for their religion? That is a problem, that the Quran claims to be complete and explained in detail and so on, and you can't understand what the heck it's talking about. And like there are multiple passages. I mean, there are passages like this where you have like, what is he talking about? Sister of Aaron. What are you talking about? And then if you want the response to understand this, you'd have to go to the Hadith and you'd get a stupid response from Muhammad. But there are all sorts of situations where you don't know what's going on. You don't know what it is that abrogates what without going outside of it, which wouldn't be a terrible problem if it weren't for the Quran saying that it's complete and explained in detail and perfectly clear as like evidence, right? It's like, hey, this is so clear, this must be from God. And then you find out, wait a minute, it's completely unclear, and no one can figure out what it means without going to these massive multi-volume collections of sources outside the Quran. And to the Tafsir, and to the Sirah, and so on. Let's see. From Edwin, no comment there. Will you be going to State Fair this summer? Favorite ride? No. I will not be going to a state fair. I think David's fade in and start talking is pretty creative. Yes, it is. I just start.
What?
Aladdin is spreading corruption among the ex-Muslim community, and the capital punishment of making fun of him in ex-Islam will be to Leo weaklings like him, and we're proud of that.
Yes.
You do have some little weaklings. I love you, brothers. Learned a lot. Apostate Prophet will become Christian soon. Lol, amin.
Inshallah.
Powerful. Germany demolish the Blue Mosque. Sweden curbs immigration. Did they demolish a mosque?
I think they shut it down or something. I'm not sure what exactly happened.
Oh, they were saying it because they were tied to radicalism or something like that. Right?
Yeah, it's so weird because Germany was for the longest time the softest of the bunch in Europe. For some reason, right now, it's like Germany is the only one that is actually properly responding to radicalist protests, radical movements, to terrorist ties and things like that. Other countries like the UK are still having this whole subservient attitude. Well, Germany is like, no, not allowing this.
I was saying, do not push those Germans. Don't do it. I'm talking like from a Muslim perspective. Do not push those dudes. They will snap. They will eventually snap, and they will be. Once they get brutal, once they decide to get brutal, I mean, you've got some of the Eastern European nations, but they don't have the same problem because they're not allowing all the same level of immigration. So Eastern European nations would not take it very long, but the Germans are not going to take it. The Germans are not going to take it forever. The French will take it very long. The British not quite as long as the French, but the Germans no.
The thing is also the whole recent war kind of contributed to Germany's attitude, shift in attitude. Germany has a big sensitivity, for obvious reasons, about anti-Semitism, and when lots of these protests, these radical protests, also turned into very blatant and open, anti-Jewish and violent anti-Jewish actions and protests and all that. that's when the German sensitivities came in and were like, okay, you know what? We saw this stuff before, but this is not, you're not going to do this here. Yeah, got to be careful.
Right. All right, I'm going to put up your. This is your graphic that you sent.
Yes, exactly. This is what I sent.
Why don't you explain this, and then we'll read the sources, because all the sources you're mentioning, I have those sources.
So this is actually this is a screenshot that is from my video "One Mistake Destroys Islam," which I also put up there, explained lengthily, and then I challenged the Muslims to come out and to explain to us, taking all the aspects here into consideration, explain to us how in the world this makes sense, and how in the world we are not supposed to think that there is a giant contradiction or a mistake taking place here. So on the left side, you can see, first off, on the right side, you can see the breakdown of Amram, whose Arabic name is, who is in Arabic known as Imran. And he has 3 children that are known: Miriam, Aaron, and Moses. So Amram, I'm going here by the Bible. In the Bible, there is a man, a figure mentioned by the name of Amram, and he has 3 very significant children who play a great role in the Exodus story. Moses, most importantly. Aaron, also very important. He's always there helping him out, sometimes taking over for him, being strong when Moses weakens, and so on. And Miriam, who is also there helping along, and who is also known as a prophetess, and who is also there leading people and singing the Psalms, and or singing different songs and things like that. And then So we have that established. We have those figures. On the left side, we see another Mary figure whose father's name seems different. David, what's the father's name? What's the name of the of Mother Mary's father?
In the actual sources, I mean, you can't trust them completely, but in the sources, Joachim.
That's exactly the point. You can't really trust them completely. That's what you say. That's the issue. Joachim is mentioned only in certain sources which are considered apocryphal, which weren't included in the canon. Catholics and Orthodox have, I think, more reverence for that aspect, for the sources on his name. They more often remember him as Joachim, but that is how he's remembered. But the issue is, you barely have his name well established in biblical sources. However, Islam tells us about one Mary, and says Mary, daughter of Imran, sister of Aaron, mother of Jesus. That doesn't really make much sense. But there is one more issue. So first off, Imran sounds nothing like Joachim, which is the only name associated with the father of Mother Mary, right? Imran is only close to Amram, which is the actual Hebrew name of the father of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam in the Bible. And the issue is the Quran also repeatedly mentions Imran as a very important figure, and indeed says that the family of Imran is one of the most important families. In fact, there is an entire chapter of the Quran, one of the longest chapters, the 3rd chapter, Surah Al-Imran. It is because Imran is so important. If we are to think about Imran as the father of Moses and Aaron and Miriam, we can assume that this family is indeed referenced as the very important one, and Imran is considered an important figure. He is known by name, he is mentioned, and this family is instrumental in something as serious as the Exodus. We just heard from David and also from others that we barely know anything about the father of Mother Mary. We can't even be entirely sure about his name. But the only name we have is Joachim. Could that really be the one that the Quran is referring to as very important, as a very important family, as very, very important? I don't think so.
Yeah, we're about to. We're about to see some problems here.
Yeah, there is just so much wrong here. But I put all of this together. The Quran refers to Mary as sister of Aaron, refers to her as daughter of Imran, and then even in the third source that I pointed out here, describes how Imran has a daughter with his wife and names her Mary, and that same Mary then later gives birth to Jesus. So that is the account of the Quran. There is no mistake. We clearly have Mary, whose father is Imran and whose son is Jesus. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. And everything here points just at one thing, which is that the Quran refers to Mother Mary, because that's the only Mary the Quran knows, to Mother Mary, but then gets the father and the brother of Mother Mary wrong by referring to her as sister of Aaron and as a daughter of Imran. Aaron and Imran are figures that are very, very, very distant, that have nothing at all to do with Mother Mary, Mother of Jesus. And there's also, of course, one reason. There are two reasons that I can think of why the Quran got this totally wrong. Reason number one is the Quran is totally informed by Muhammad, who just heard things randomly from left and right. And reason number two is that in the Quran, women are generally not quite significant, and women are generally not accepted as prophets. In fact, if you ask Muslims about female prophets, they will often laugh and say there is no such thing as female prophets. Women can't be prophets. So the idea of a prophetess Miriam, or somebody who is very significant in the time of Moses, of the Exodus, together with Moses and Aaron, would be a little bit inconceivable to them. But there's much, much more. David.
All right, you ready to go through some sources here, AP?
Yes.
I have a little tech problem here. Oh, there we go. What is that? I keep accidentally hitting a shortcut button that switches to me, and I don't know what the heck the button is. So I don't know how to undo it.
I want to point out everyone makes mistakes. So in this case, Allah made a mistake, probably. No judgment.
Indeed.
But the thing is, if it's the all-knowing, the all-knowing author of the perfect book of all time, he shouldn't be making this mistake. This would be, if we establish that this is a mistake, then this means with 100% certainty that Islam is false.
We're about to find out. All right, so we're going to go through some sources. First, let's start with the obvious. So we'll read the passage about Mary where she's called the sister of Aaron. And guys, I recommend taking notes, maybe screenshots, having all these sources handy. This is a good point to bring up. This is a good point to go and bring up with Muslims. This is a good point to bring. These are good points to bring up in response in the comment section to Sheikh Uthman's video. But let's see if I can get this up on the screen. There we go. I'm shocked that actually worked so easily. All right, so here you have, this is Surah 19, Surah Al-Miriam. Guys, keep in mind, there is precisely one woman in the entire Quran who is mentioned by name. And it's not the mother of Muhammad. It is Mary, mother of Jesus, who's mentioned over and over and over again. She has a chapter named after her. No other woman in the entire Quran is mentioned by name. Kind of shows you the status of women in Islam. But check this out. So we'll start at verse.
This is Islam values women. Look and see.
Verse 16. Relate in the book the story of Mary when she withdrew from her family to a place in the east. She placed a screen to screen herself from them. Then we sent her our angel, and he appeared before her as a man in all respects. She said, I seek refuge from thee to God, most gracious. Come not near if thou dost fear God. So she actually thinks it's a dude who's coming to rape her or something like that. He said, Nay, I am only an apostle from thy Lord to announce to thee the gift of a holy son. She said, How shall I have a son, seeing that no man has touched me, and I am not unchaste? Good question. Because when Allah is asked, why can't he have a son? He says, how can I have a son when I have no wife? She says, how can I have a son when no man's touched me? And I'm not unchaste. He said, so it will be. Thy Lord saith, that is easy for me. So suddenly, it's easy for Allah, for for one party to have a son. Just not easy for him to do it by himself. But Mary can do it, no problem. He said, "So it will be, thy Lord saith, that is easy for me, and we wish to appoint him as a sign unto men and a mercy from us. It is a matter so decreed." So she conceived him, and she retired with him to a remote place. And the pains of childbirth drove her to the trunk of a palm tree. She cried in her anguish, "Ah, would that I had died before this. Would that I had been a thing forgotten and out of sight." But a voice cried to her from beneath the palm tree, this is baby Jesus, "Grieve not, for thy Lord hath provided a rivulet beneath thee," little stream. "And shake towards thyself the trunk of the palm tree. It will let fall fresh ripe dates upon thee. So eat and drink and cool thine eye. And if thou dost see any man, say, I have vowed a fast to God most gracious, and this day I will enter into not talk with any human being." At length she brought the babe to her people, carrying him in her arms. They said, "O Mary, truly an amazing thing hast thou brought." In other words, hey, you're not married, and here you are with a kid. Something's not right here. And what do they say? "O sister of Aaron." So in verse 27, "O Mary, truly an amazing thing thou hast brought. O sister of Aaron." So identifying her by this Aaron is obviously important. They don't call her, daughter of. It's sister of someone. And according to Sheikh Uthman, the Aaron here is her insignificant brother that literally no one in history has ever heard of. But he's so prominent that they're saying, "Oh my goodness, this is the sister of Aaron." "O sister of Aaron, thy father was not a man of evil, nor thy mother a woman unchaste." But she pointed to the babe. So they're challenging her. "Hey, what's going on? Why you got this kid here, Mary? Why you got this kid?" She pointed to the babe. So they said, "How can we talk to one who is a child in the cradle?" Saying, "What are you talking about? It's a baby." But they're wrong. "He said, I am indeed a servant of Allah, the great God Allah. He hath given me revelation and made me a prophet, and he hath made me blessed wheresoever I be, and hath enjoined on me prayer and charity as long as I live. He hath made me kind to my mother, and not overbearing or miserable. So peace is on me the day I was born, and the day I die, and the day that I shall be raised up to life again. Such was Jesus, son of Mary." It is a statement of truth about which they vainly dispute. So there you have it. Again, that's one you want to learn. "O sister of," and that's the only thing that Sheikh Uthman is actually responding to. "O sister of Aaron." She's called sister of Aaron. So Sheikh Uthman gives the simple response. If that were the only argument, you could say, well, could just be a coincidence that she also had a brother named Aaron. Well, it could be. But why would they be calling her sister of Aaron and not daughter of, her parents if this guy's insignificant? Only makes sense to say sister of Aaron if Aaron is someone especially significant. And according to Sheikh Uthman, he's not. But the main problem there is that Sheikh Uthman did not actually address the rest of the argument. That's only one piece. That's only one piece, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got that so far?
David mentioned one piece.
Got that so far?
Yes.
Anything you want to say, or should we keep going through these sources?
Keep going.
Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen, because there's another piece of the puzzle here. Another piece of the puzzle. Here's Surah 3. Oh, look, here we go. Hey, AP. You're talking about this special family. Surah 3, verse 33. God did choose Adam and Noah, the family of Abraham and the family of Imran, above all people, offspring one of another. And God heareth and knoweth all things. So guys, you see this here? God specially chose certain two people and two families above all people. And God chose Adam and Noah, the family of Abraham, and the family of Imran above all people. And you say, what's special about the family of Imran?
Yeah, this is I think this is very important. Very, very important. What is important about Adam? Well, the beginning of creation, and so on, where everything begins. What is important about Noah? Very, very significant event, believed to be or presented to be the beginning or a new beginning for all mankind, which is why people have things known as the laws of Noah. Noah is where the whole story of humanity starts anew for another chance. What is important about Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael, and of course Abraham's whole thing, his entire coming to the belief in God, being probably the most important figure in the Old Testament, in the Bible. What exactly is important about the family of Imran? And we're not talking about Jesus. We're not talking about the family of Mary. We're just talking about the family of Imran. What's important about that family?
Yeah, so here's the issue, ladies and gentlemen, because again, we know that the full argument is new information for lots of people. Okay, the family of Imran is important in the Bible because Imran is the father of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam.
Exactly.
So this is the Exodus from Egypt. This is the start of the priesthood through Aaron and so on. Really, really, really huge deal. But you have here Allah saying that the family of Imran is above all people, but you keep going. Imran is the father of Mary here, right? And so you could say, well, that's still a big event. That's Mary, the mother of Jesus. And so that's still a big event, but we have no record anywhere else apart from the Muslim sources saying that Mary's father was Imran. When we go to the Christian sources, her father's name was Joachim. So he's saying that the family of Imran, according to Sheikh Uthman, he didn't talk about Imran as part of the argument, but it is. But Imran, so he'd have to say not only is there another Aaron, a different Aaron in the Quran, there's also a different Imran in the Quran. And it just happens to be the same exact relationships as with Miriam, the sister of Aaron and the daughter of Imran, right? So something weird is going on here because, keep in mind, Sheikh Uthman would have to say the exact same thing about Imran that he said about Aaron.
Yeah.
He'd have to say, oh, they just named, there's lots of people named this. Well, first of all, no, there's not a ton of people named Imran. But suppose we grant that, we grant that possibility. Imran is if you're talking about Imran and saying he's the real father of Mary, he's so insignificant. We don't have a single reference to Imran being the father of Mary apart from Muslim sources. How is this family alongside Adam, Noah, and Abraham when we have no reference to this Imran as the father of Mary? We'd have no reference it even existed until Muslims started trying to explain this issue.
Yep.
So that's what Sheikh Uthman is going to have to do. He's going to have to say this Imran is another Imran. So just coincidentally, Mary, the mother of Jesus, has an actual brother named Aaron and a father named Imran, even though Miriam, the sister of Aaron and the daughter of Imran, has these exact same relationships, just coincidentally. Okay, but let's read the rest of this passage real quick. So you've got Adam and Noah, the family of Abraham and the family of Imran, above all people, offspring of one of another. So Noah is ultimately the offspring of Adam, and the family of Abraham.
Hold up! I have to point out one very important thing on the point of Imran being very, very important. I just remembered something which I didn't think about before, actually, with this argument. But just remember to look up once again the most frequently mentioned figures in the Quran, because I was pretty sure that the most mentioned figure was Moses, and it is indeed true. If you look for the frequency of each person mentioned in the Quran, it is number 1 is Moses, number 2 is Abraham, number 3 is Noah, number 4 is Joseph, number 5 is Adam. So Moses, So Abraham is here listed in these in this verse that we see that we just read. Noah is also on this list and is also mentioned here as very important. Then the family of Abraham. Abraham is the second most mentioned figure. The most mentioned figure ever in the Quran is Moses, more than anyone else, twice as many times as Abraham. So you would expect that probably
that family.
That family is a very significant one that Allah chose above all people. But if we are to accept that Imran here is a reference to that family, to the family of Moses, then this calls into question how in the world Imran here also happens to be the father of Mother Mary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a mystery, but it's about to get more difficult. So offspring one of the other, and God heareth and knoweth all things. Behold, a woman of Imran said, so it's a wife, O my Lord, I do dedicate unto thee what is in my womb for thy special service. So accept this of me, for thou hearest and knowest all things. When she was delivered, she said, O my Lord, behold, I am delivered of a female child, and God knew best what she brought forth. And no wise is the male like the female. I have named her Mary, and I commend her and her offspring to thy protection from the evil one, the rejected. So, the wife of Imran has a daughter, names her Mary. Who would that make the father of Mary? That would be Imran.
Imran. Well, okay, obviously, it only says Mary here. Obviously, then, if Imran here is the father of this Mary, then obviously this Mary must be Miriam, sister of Aaron and Moses, right?
Well, we're going to see. We're going to go a little more. All right, so here you have Surah 66. By the way, guys, this is a short chapter. This is a good chapter to know. The opening verses of Surah 66, these are the verses where Muhammad got caught having sex with his slave girl in his wife Hafsa's bed, and she flips out, and then he tells her not to tell, and then she runs and tells Aisha anyway, and then Muhammad's all mad at his wives and so on. And so you have that entire ordeal. But then later on, you start having the Quran talking about good women versus bad women and so on. So you can see in verse 10 there, God strikes out a parable to those who misbelieve. The wife of Noah and the wife of Lot, bad wives. They were under two of our righteous servants, but they betrayed them and they availed them nothing against God. And it was said, enter the fire with those who enter. Those bad wives are going to hell, even though they were wives of righteous servants, right? So that's a warning. Hey, wives, you're not being good wives, and you think you're fine just because you're the wife of Muhammad. Wrong.
Women.
And then you have the next verse, and God strikes out a parable for those who believe. The wife of Pharaoh, when she said, my Lord, build for me a house with thee in paradise, and save me from Pharaoh and his works, and save me from the unjust people. And Mary, daughter of Imran, who guarded her private parts, and we breathed into her private parts. This is why we call Allah the vagina blower. And we breathed therein of our spirit, and she verified the words of her Lord and his books, and was of the devout.
Wait a minute. Wow. So Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, daughter of Amram, traveled in time and gave birth to Jesus.
Yeah. Indeed. You are correct.
So Mary is an interdimensional time-traveling woman. That's why she's so special. I get it.
Well, I mean, if Muhammad can travel through time and be the guy that Solomon's wife was in love with, I don't know why you're ruling out time travel. It's perfectly normal back then. But we're not done. We're not done. Two more things on Imran here. So this is a hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari, 3769. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ashari, Allah's messenger said, many amongst men attained perfection, but amongst women none attained the perfection except Mary, the daughter of Imran, and Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh. Keep in mind, these are the same two mentioned in the Quran. Wife of Pharaoh, and Mary. And the superiority of Aisha to other women is like the superiority of al-tharid, which is a meat and bread dish, to other meals. It's messed up. People, hey, what about Aisha? If you're saying these other women were the really great ones, Aisha's superiority is that she's like a delicious meal. This little girl, she's like a delicious meal to me, made of bread and meat. Oh yes, I feast upon Aisha every night. What a creepy.
She's like Farid. Yeah,
she's like Al-Tharid rhymes with Farid.
She's like Al-Farid.
Al-Farid.
Just like Farid.
She's like Farid. She's like the superiority of Farid. Hey, we should make a channel called Farid Responds. Anyway, so so notice again here. I mean, there's lots of things here. Many amongst men attain perfection. So it's pretty normal for guys to be perfect, but women, no, only two of you. Only two of you made it. Some ladies are better than others if they're especially delicious dishes like Aisha. But as far as perfection, nope, it's Mary, daughter of Imran. Daughter of Imran. So you have it there. And now for the relevant Bible verse here. This is 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 3, the children of Amram, Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. Amram. Now, in Arabic, Amram is Imran, at least in the Muslim sources. And you can go to...
Imran.
Yeah,
quite plausible.
You can go to... Well, that's actually how it's written in the genealogy, in the History of At-Tabari, Volume 3, the genealogy of Moses... in English, in the English translation, it says Moses, son of Amram. In the Arabic, it's Musa ibn Imran. So we know these guys referred to Amram as Imran. All right. We got this so far? So far, everyone? Okay, and then one more here. We've got a few more issues, but one more I wanted to bring up right here, which we're talking about the gospel of the birth of Mary. So this is not something we would take as authoritative, although you have to say, even though you wouldn't take this, if you would not want to establish any actual Christian belief on a source that's late and unreliable. So this is centuries after, and it started with, I think, the Gospel of Pseudo Matthew, and then the Proto-Evangelium of James, and so on. And then this springs out of that. So this is actually centuries after the events. With that said, it's always possible that there was a tradition that identified Joachim and that it's reliable. In other words, her parents could have been named Joachim and Anna. It's possible. I wouldn't. I mean, if I had to, if someone said, David, what's your best guess? I would go with Joachim and Anna, but I would not be sure of that because these are late sources. But these things can be based on earlier information that was known at the time. But so you have the gospel of the birth of Mary, and
so you could just use, you could at least use by going by strongest or best available evidence. You could say that the only evidence we have of his name is that it is Joachim.
Yeah,
that is how the tradition is established, and it doesn't seem plausible that people would somehow randomly come up with this name Joachim when his name was actually Amram.
Yeah. So we have here the blessed and ever glorious Virgin Mary, sprung from the royal race and family of David, was born in the city of Nazareth and educated at Jerusalem in the temple of the Lord. Her father's name was Joachim and her mother's Anna. The family of her father was of Galilee and the city of Nazareth. The family of her mother was Bethlehem. So that's the part that the great Sheikh Uthman is leaving. That's not all he's leaving out, because we also have a couple things from a commentary, and he did read the hadith. We'll take a closer look at that, and then we will also bring in Aisha's thoughts on this issue, because it was reported to Aisha once. Hey, did you know that these are actually two different Marys in the Quran.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she says, you liar. We're going to look at those in a second. Yeah, we're going to look at those in a second. But guys, so we just wanted you to have those sources. Again, learn those references, take screenshots if you want. But contrary to Sheikh Uthman, this isn't simply, oh, it says sister of Aaron, and that's the case. It's Mary is the sister of Aaron and the daughter of Imran, a.k.a. Amram. And, hey, that just happens to be the same familial relationships as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and daughter of Amram. So, is the Quran confusing these two people? So you got Mary, he's talking about Mary. So guys, keep in mind. So in the Bible, we say Miriam and we say Mary. In Arabic, they're both Miriam. So
and in Hebrew as well. So,
yeah, so
in Hebrew,
yes.
they're both the same name, Miriam.
Yeah, and you see, by the time of Jesus, Mary's the most common name. Mary's the most common name of women. So that's why you have marry this, marry that, marry this, marry that, and so on. So you have Mary, very common name. But in Arabic, Miriam, if you hear Miriam, you're talking about Miriam, and you hear the Jews talking about Miriam, and you hear the Christians talking about Miriam, it would be pretty easy to make the mistake of assuming that they're talking about the same Miriam. How would you know if someone actually confused the two Miriams? Well, he might be dumb enough to put it in his book that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the sister of Aaron and the daughter of Imran. That's how you would know if someone totally confused these two Marys and thought they were the same person, rather than two different people separated by a very, very, very long time.
This is clear display, I must say, and I have to point out, we often try to be careful and humble with those claims, but I think, going through this once again, I think it is pretty clear. It is very clear, almost certain, that this is a very, very bad mistake, a very bad error in the Quran, a complete misunderstanding of the Bible. And I would say this is very strong evidence that Islam is false, that the Quran is wrong, and that Islam is made up, created by people who didn't know anything, people who didn't know much, who just heard whatever they heard and then just included that. Miriam. Oh, okay, Miriam. Yeah, I know Miriam. Yeah, daughter of Imran and sister of Aaron. And mother of Jesus, yeah, same one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
yeah, so Sheikh Uthman's entire approach is along the lines of you have to give Muslims the benefit of the doubt on this, and so it flies in the. In other words, is it theoretically possible that Mary also had a sister? A brother named Aaron and a dad named Imran or Amram. It's theoretically possible. It's just there's so many problems here with why would you call her by her brother's name and not as the daughter of someone? You only do that with really prominent figures, and her brother's completely insignificant to anything. And then we're gonna take a look at some hadith. So the method is always give Islam the benefit of doubt on all these things. And it's like, if this were the only issue, maybe you could say something. But when Allah explains the Trinity and it's no one's definition of the Trinity ever, we say, oh, he got it wrong. And they say, no, maybe there was some unknown group that taught this. So we're supposed to give the benefit of the doubt, not conclude that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Same thing with Jews calling Ezra the son of Allah. Well, maybe there was some group there's. Okay, why is this used as a blanket condemnation of Jews in general? And why do we have no evidence that this? No, well, hypothetically, there was some group there. Maybe that's who it's applying to. So it's all these like complete hypothetical situation. Maybe when it says that Dul Qarnayn found the pool and the sun's going down into the pool, it's saying that it was an optical illusion. We're just supposed to constantly give the benefit of the doubt on this. When keep in mind, guys, this is the same guy, Sheikh Uthman, who sat there and lied to his audience saying that you can actually calculate an age of 3 for Rebecca and we went through it. We went through it and we actually broke it down and we caught him lying about the end of Genesis 22. This is why they call him Sheikh ibn Fibbin, which is a criticism to everyone else. Everyone else, if you found out someone's a liar, it would be a problem. For Dawah fans, it's not a problem. I mean, in fact, they wouldn't know what to do with you if you weren't a liar. If a Dawah guy came along and you were honest about everything, what would they do? They wouldn't know where to put this guy. If you come along, the bigger the liar you are, the more they love you.
This is, I imagine that this is probably how it conspired in Muhammad's time. People called Muhammad the ear because he would just believe anything and just hear things and just include them in his stories. He would hear people talk about Alexander the Great, and he would include that in the Quran as Dhul Qarnayn, who is guided by Allah, which makes no sense at all. He probably he hears about Mary, the mother of Jesus, because she's very significant, has a lot of reverence, probably is revered significantly by people, by Christians that Muhammad encounters. They hold her in high regard, which is why he misunderstands them and thinks that they actually think she is God besides Jesus and the Father, which is why this is included in the Quran. For those who don't know, don't joke. The Quran actually tries to debunk the Christian belief in the Trinity and says and accuses Christians of believing in Allah, Jesus, and Jesus's mother, and then tries to debunk that. But what he hears on one hand from Christians about Mary, then maybe he is hearing a conversation from Christians who are talking about biblical figures, and they mention Miriam, and to specify who they are talking about, since they refer to both of them by the same name, they say that the sister of Aaron, or the sister of Aaron and Moses, and Muhammad thinks, oh yeah, okay, Mary also had a brother named Aaron. Okay, yeah. But okay, now I have learned something new. I have to include this in my revelations that I received from Allah. Yes, next time I mention Mary, I will say, Mary, sister of Aaron. So that's how it might have been established. Similarly, for example, when it comes to the claim that Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, I mean, Jews might have been, he might have heard it from Jews who were significantly praising Ezra, and Ezra deserves a lot of praise in the Jewish tradition. He is credited as the one who heroically doesn't accept diaspora, but goes back and reunites and rebuilds the Jewish community and the temple and the scripture and all that. So they remember him very, very dearly. And he overhears something and he thinks, oh, wait a minute, these people, they worship Ezra. I have to include this in my next revelation when Allah talks to me. And the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah. May Allah curse them. That's probably how it all conspired.
Make me want to convert with that powerful. That was Muhammad Hijab level recitation there, brother.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, and by the way, AP, that's exactly my thinking. It makes perfect sense where he's coming up with these, how he could possibly come up with these mistakes, right? He hears Christians talking about God the Father. He hears about Christians talking about the deity of Christ. He hears Christians talking about Mary, the mother of Jesus, and he hears Christians saying Trinity. And so you just think, what are they talking about? Oh, it's God, Jesus, and Mary. That's the Trinity there. That's what they mean by the Trinity. Yeah. It makes sense for Muhammad to make this mistake, just like it would make sense for Muhammad to make the mistake about Ezra, or Muhammad to make the mistake about Dhul Qarnayn. It makes sense for Muhammad to be making these mistakes. It doesn't make sense for Allah to be making these mistakes if he's all-knowing. So if you're saying these all go back to Allah, you've got two possibilities. Either he's ignorant or he's deceptive. It's always back, ignorant or deceptive. It's got to be one of those two. But we're not quite done, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple more sources. We'll take a couple super chats real quick, and then we will jump into a couple remaining sources, and then we will rewatch Sheikh Uthman's video, and we will put it to the viewers on how well he actually responded to the real argument. I'll probably put AP's graphic back on the screen too after we've gone through the sources, and that way people know what the sources he has on the screen are actually in reference to, because we've read them. Candace was never good. Back on Candace, I followed her since long before she got big. She was always a snake in the grass. Tree of Logic is mongoose to that snake. I knew this would blow up in Daily Wire's face the second I heard she joined up.
Yeah, Tree of Logic has been one of the great people who have been consistently calling out Candace Owens and consistently calling out people for supporting her just because she's black and a woman and on their side. And Tree of Logic herself is a black conservative woman who actually has principles. So yeah, that's that.
Knows Too Much says, if Muhammad's night journey was actually to Diha, the Diha's shrine in Israel is the real Al-Aqsa and what the Muslims are really after. I'm going back to Israel in December. I'm thinking about finding out if we're going anywhere near there. There is a shrine. There is a little shrine for Diha al-Kalbi as Muhammad's favorite male lover. I want to find out, make it a little. That would be fun. How funny would it be to actually be at the shrine of Diha and make a video about him banging Muhammad's butt? Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have to look that up and then check our schedule. Sheikh Uthman inability to hear criticism equals non-existent. It doesn't exist. They can't come up with anything. They have nothing. Oh, I got stabbed. They got stabbed. Look at all this fake blood. I have a cousin named Paul and Peter. So does that mean they're related or are the same person as the Apostle Paul or Peter? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Muhammad might make that mistake. Oh, yes, this person is a relative of Paul and Peter. Happy feast of the Dormition of the Theotokos for everyone willing. Please pray for a Burmese Muslim named Thandar to see and reject the evil of Islam. Have to say, how cool a name is that? Thandar. Sounds like a ancient warrior. Thandar.
Well, that's how you pronounce it, but it's probably like Thunder.
Yeah, it probably does have some lame pronunciation. All right, guys. So pray for Thandar. He's got a cool name.
Thandar.
He's got a cool name, but a lame religion. So pray for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. The British Bookworm says, coming at you from the UK, I've been watching both of you for many, many years now. Cannot thank you both enough for all the time, study, efforts, and intellectual conversations and educational videos over the years. Thanks. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. No, David, Jesus is son of AP. Tell that to Aladdin. What? Why would I tell Aladdin that?
Yeah.
The pair character here. Please comment also on John 5:26 in relationship to John 1. No. What in the name of common sense are you talking about? People wanted us to go through Bible studies on completely unrelated topics to what we're dealing with. Mosh Cohen says, D-Wood, just saw today your stream with Raymond Ibrahim. I think it's one of the most educational streams I've ever seen. Brilliant, dude. Wow. Isn't that interesting? I ditch AP and do a show with Raymond Ibrahim, and everyone's like, wow, it's such a great stream. Things are so much better. Things are so much better without AP around.
But why does he have a fake name?
Might have to do more streams with Raymond Ibrahim.
Choose a real name like Apostate Prophet.
Say something about Mr. Jones again. Which Jones? What Jones are we talking about?
There are many Mr. Joneses.
What Jones are we talking about?
There's Alex Jones.
Alex Jones?
There's Michael Jones.
Got to be Alex Jones, right?
There's Jim Jones, who is my favorite of all the Jones.
Water's turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
And it's turning a certain community into a community of pedos. A pedo cult. It's happening because of the water. It's called Zamzam. Zamzam water. Zamzam water turns you into a cult of pedos. It's a fact. Got the evidence right here.
That's true.
And let's see. Assumption, falling asleep of Mary, bodily taking up of Mary to heaven. Now everyone knows. I can't find my shoes. I know Sheikh Uthman took them. He probably did.
Yeah.
Probably did. I mean, if he'll take a dude's wife, what are shoes going to be to him? Hey, D1 and AP's little brother, PP, do you plan to go over Sam versus Daniel, pedophile debate in Fresh and Fit? Yeah, we already said we are.
Yeah, we are going to go through that. I'm still coordinating with Jay Dyer, brother of Moses. Once we have figured that out, we might get to it.
Yes, we will go through that. Conclusion, Mary of Quran is not Mary of the Bible. Therefore, Isa is not Jew or Christian Jesus. We Christians overthink this problem. Islam has their own Mary, Jesus, Ibrahim, Musa, etc. Nice, Sheikh. Makes sense. Yeah, that's actually a good point. If you're going to say, oh, this is a different... this is actually good, AP. If you're going to say, hey, oh, yeah, Aaron, but it's a different Aaron. And Imran, but it's a different Imran. Well, why is it not a different Mary and a different Jesus? If everyone's different and you could just say, maybe there's a different Mary and maybe there's a different Jesus. And you say, but no, also, I mean, we know who Mary is. She's the famous. Well, why are you saying there's another Aaron who's not the famous one? Huh? And a different Imran that we've never heard of and contradicts the only information we have on who Mary's parents were. Why?
And also a different Allah. It's a different God.
It's a different Allah. See, we've solved all the problems. Thank you. All right, we'll get back to those in a couple. Hey, look at the picture there. Mother Queen. Pretty dope. All right, couple more sources, ladies and gentlemen. Just a couple more. Because as Uthman pointed out, and as AP mentioned, like if people of the time didn't bring up an argument, then they say, but no one during Muhammad's time brought out the argument, so you can't use it. And here you have Sheikh Uthman, they're bringing up a problem that was already brought up during the time of the Prophet. Like, yeah, so people saw that instantly, right? People saw the problem instantly. All right, so this is the hadith that Sheikh Uthman brought up. And he kind of glossed over it because he got more problems than he's aware of. So this is Sahih Muslim. Mughira bin Shuba reported, when I came to Najran, they, the Christians of Najran, asked me, you read, so this is Mughira, companion of Muhammad, goes to the Christians, and the Christians instantly have a question for him, right? Why? Because Muslims have gone there saying, hey, this guy's a prophet. We've got a prophet. You guys need to follow this prophet. And then Mughira goes there, says, hey, Christians, what do you think about this new prophet? And they say, we got a question for you. You read in your Quran, O sister of Harun, so that's Aaron, O sister of Harun, so Miriam, in the Quran. So they're complaining here. Hey, why you guys call Mary the sister of Aaron? Why you calling that in the Quran? Whereas Moses was born much before Jesus. So they're concluding, hey, Aaron, we know who Aaron is. That's the brother of Moses. We know that Moses was a long, long time before Jesus. So what's going on here? Why are you guys calling her sister of Aaron? When I came back to Allah's messenger, notice already, two problems already, ladies and gentlemen, by this line. One, if Muslims want to say, oh yes, you could just call someone you could just call someone sister of so-and-so back then, which is what Muhammad's response is going to be. The Christians weren't familiar with that. Christians had never heard of this. They had never heard of Mary being the daughter of Imran. And they never heard of Mary having a brother named Aaron. The only Mary they were familiar with having a brother named Aaron was Miriam, right? So they have no idea what Muhammad's talking about. They have no idea what the Quran is talking about. So that's one.
This is an Oriental Orthodox Jewish Christian community, very most likely, with high reverence for Mary, Mother Mary, and more knowledge than Muhammad would ever have. And they are coming here and thinking, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah. And so That's one problem. Namely, because Muhammad's going to say, oh, you know, people used to give people names after the important persons and so on. So, okay, the Christians are not familiar with any of this applying to Mary. They've never heard of this before. But then notice also, when I came back to Allah's messenger, what's that mean? It means Muhammad's companion who's out there to preach Islam to these people, he doesn't know how to respond either. So they bring it up. Hey, what are you guys, stupid? You're talking about Mary as the sister of Aaron. He's like, I have to go find out from Allah's messenger. Why? Why can't you just give the answer? Why don't you just give the answer? Why don't you just explain how, oh no, Mary had a brother whose name was also Aaron. Why don't you say that? Because he has no clue. These guys didn't know. They didn't know it was an issue, right? And we're about to see one more on this. But he says, when I came to Allah's messenger, I asked him about that, whereupon he said, the people of the old age used to give names to their persons after the names of apostles and pious persons who had gone before them.
Sure, yeah, totally. Sure, yeah.
There are two ways to interpret this. One is the way Sheikh Uthman interpreted it. The other is the way I've seen more Muslims interpret it. I think Sheikh Uthman's wrong even in his interpretation of this. So Sheikh Uthman, and this is just a problem, Muhammad's never clear, the Quran's never clear. The people of the old age used to give names to their persons after the names of apostles and pious persons who had gone before them. So Sheikh Uthman interprets this as Mary has a brother named Aaron, and Aaron was named after a famous pious person, the famous Aaron, right? It's more common, at least in my experience, for Muslims to interpret this as you would just call Mary sister of Aaron, so you would just link that name to her. You just link the name Aaron to her. You could call her sister of so-and-so, and you just name pious persons. So that's the more common one. I have to say that one's even more problematic, because if that one were correct, you should see this all the time in the Muslim sources and in the Jewish sources. Muhammad's saying it's a thing. You just call it. So if you're a really nice person, I call you sister of Moses or something like this, or I call you sister of Abraham, something like that.
Plus, also, let's say that is a practice, but out of all of the names they could choose, they chose Aaron.
Yep. And so they picked Aaron out of all. So guys, so you have two possible ways to interpret this hadith. One, the way Sheikh Uthman interprets it is it's just saying that Mary has a brother named Aaron, who he was given the name of the famous Aaron. So that's plausible. It doesn't account for once we bring in the other issues, it doesn't solve the problem. But it would be possible that someone would also have a brother named Aaron. It's just weird that she has all the family relationships and so on. But the more common way is that Mary's called sister of Aaron, and they could have picked anyone. They could have said sister of Moses, sister of Abraham, sister of David. You could have just said sister of anyone. If that was a practice, then we should be seeing this all the time. We should be seeing this all the time. But we don't. All right, so that's one issue, namely Muhammad's companion. Notice Muhammad's companion had no clue that this was an issue until Christians told him, and Muhammad did not respond to it until it was an objection from Christians. In other words, when Muhammad is teaching, is receiving the revelations, and having his followers learn the revelations and memorize the revelations, it never crosses their minds that there's a problem because they don't know. And it never crosses Muhammad's mind to explain, hey guys, keep in mind, this is a different Mary. Even though she has the same brother and same father's name as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, even though she has the same family relation, it's a different person. Never crosses his mind until Christians expose him.
And even though nobody has ever mentioned that this Mary also has a brother named Aaron and a father named Imran, and I am the first person ever to mention this, you should know that this is a different one. Sure,
yeah. And that's a problem. Muhammad's responses to these things never come up until people point out a problem. It's the same thing with when they were, Muhammad's companions were reciting the Quran differently, and they're ready to fight over this stuff. They're reciting the Quran differently. They come to Muhammad. He says, okay, how do you recite it? One guy recites it. He says, okay, how do you recite it? Another guy recites it. Muhammad said, yes, Allah revealed it in 7 different ways.
Always an excuse.
Yeah, that's the point. He doesn't say it as he's delivering the revelations. He doesn't say as he's delivering the revelations, oh, by the way, Allah's revealing it in a bunch of different ways. I'm going to tell some of you one thing and some of you something different. It's only after they realize that there's a problem, then suddenly he comes up with some ad hoc explanation. That's exactly what happens here. No one has a clue that this is an issue until Christians raise the objection. Then Muhammad, oh, don't you know how they did things back in the day? So that's one passage. And here's another.
This is also very briefly, very interesting thing about this hadith that we just read, which is it only comes up when somebody is sent to preach to these Christians and invite them to Islam. You can see here that they're basically doing the very same thing that is being done today, where Muhammad probably tells this guy, hey, you go to those Christians and invite them to Islam and tell them that I am the true prophet. And to appeal to them, to make it more appealing to them, tell them about what I said about Mary and Jesus. They will love it. They will love it, and they will convert. They will believe. And of course, he goes and mentions one of the very few things that Muhammad said about Jesus, which is that she gave birth, and the people said, "Oh, sister of Aaron," and then they're like, "Wait, that's weird. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't look like a very good plan, but the tactics of just using specific talking points to get them are quite the same."
Yep. The dawah doesn't change, ladies and gentlemen. Here you have. So this is from Tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Matter of fact, let me go with the other passage from Ibn Kathir, because this is from the non-abridged version. The version that you get in English is abridged. So this is what you read in English, and you have that other passage about Aisha, and that just gets left out of the English translation. But check this out, because here's Ibn Kathir explaining the passage. He gives multiple responses here. So he's commenting on, O sister of Harun, so from Surah 19, O sister of Harun. This means one resembling Aaron in worship. Did you catch that? Look at that. Like, how many different explanations can you possibly give? This is Ibn Kathir. He says, calling Mary sister of Harun means she resembles Aaron the way she worships. It's amazing that Sheikh Uthman knows even more than Ibn Kathir. But think about this, guys. So you could just say, one, how these people know how Aaron worshiped, but how are you going to say, hey, wait, look, I notice that Mary worships the same way that Aaron does, so I'm going to call her sister of Aaron. That's good. So that's a suggestion, but let's keep reading. Your father, so this is from the Quran, in parentheses is the Quran. Your father was not a man who used to commit adultery, nor your mother was an unchaste woman. They meant you are from a good, pure family, well known for its righteousness, worship, and abstinence from worldly indulgence. How could you do such a thing? All right. And
what's wrong?
Now let's keep reading here. It was so Ali and Asudi both said, it was said to her, O sister of Harun. So this is a different theory, referring to the brother of Musa. Wait a minute. Sheikh Uthman thinks we're idiots. I mean, complete morons. We're the dumbest of the dumb for saying, ha ha, you think this is talking about the sister of Aaron? You mean Aaron and Moses? Come on, how stupid do you have to be? What does this say right here? Oh, sister of Harun, referring to the brother of Musa, because she was one of his descendants, right? So here, completely different theory. So the first one was Mary resembles Aaron in worship, so we'll call her sister of Aaron. Here you have, oh, sister of Aaron. It's actually referring to the brother, Aaron, the brother of Moses, because she's one of his descendants. So instead of calling her daughter, because, you'd say son of David if you're a descendant of David, son of Abraham, if you're a descendant of Abraham. You'd say daughter of so-and-so if you're a descendant of so-and-so. But here it's sister of Aaron, because you're one of his descendants. This is similar to the saying, "Oh, brother of Tamim," to one who is from the Tamimi tribe, and "Oh, brother of Mudar," to one who is from the Mudari tribe. It has also been said. So this is apparently the he's comparing it to tribes. So apparently she would be of the tribe of Aaron. That's good to know. It has also been said that she was related to a righteous man among them, whose name was Harun, and she was comparable to him in her abstinence and worship. So here you have Sheikh Uthman's theory. It's maybe, and there it says related, but we'll go ahead and work Sheikh Uthman's theory into that one, that she actually had a brother named Aaron. What's the takeaway from the Ibn Kathir passage here? They have no clue, and therefore they just make up a bunch of explanations that they have no evidence for. And that's, keep in mind, if they had one good one, they would just stick with that. They've got a bunch, none of them make sense, and they're all made up, and they have no evidence for any of them. But you can just say things, like you can say anything. I mean, you could have said, I mean, put it this way, that verse of the Quran could have said, "O Mary, sister of Aaron and Moses, daughter of Imran, as I led you, Mary, mother of Jesus, out of Egypt through the Exodus." You could say all of that and say, "Oh yeah, it's just talking about other things." It was coincidentally, Mary, the mother of Jesus, had brothers named Aaron and Moses, and a father named Imran, and then she was led on the Exodus. You could say all that stuff.
That's exactly what they would do.
That is exactly what they would do, and we would be expected to go along with it and not question it at all. Okay.
In fact, we would be mocked for insisting that is a ridiculous explanation.
Yeah, we would. And so, guys, so here's Ibn Kathir in the English. There's something left out of the English translation of Ibn Kathir, and it's this. So here's a story that's actually supposed to be part of this. But it says, it was narrated from Ibn Jarir, narrated from Yaqub, blah, 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 who stated that he was told that Ka'b said the verse that reads, "O sister of Harun," Aaron, of Surah 1928, does not refer to Aaron, the brother of Moses. So Ka'b says, "Hey, sister of Aaron, that's not about Aaron, the brother of Moses." Aisha replied to Ka'b, "You have lied." It is the same Aaron. Aisha replied to Ka'b, "Liar. You have lied." Liar! Liar!
Liar! You're a liar. You're a liar.
Ka'b responded, "O mother of the believers, if the Prophet, may Allah's prayers be upon him, has said it, and he is more knowledgeable, then this is what he related. Besides, I find the difference in time between them, Jesus and Moses, to be 600 years. He said...
But isn't it interesting that Aisha has a different idea of this than what they think?
Yeah. Huh. And keep in mind, she's interpreting this as they're the same person. The two Marys are the exact same person. How do we know? Because as a response, this guy says, "What are you talking about? Jesus and Moses were centuries apart." He's off on the 600 years, but he's saying these guys are centuries apart. This can't be the same person, which means that he's responding to Aisha, who's convinced that, yes, you're talking about the same Aaron, and therefore you're talking about the same Mary. And she's calling him a liar for saying that they're actually two different Marys, two different Aarons. It can't possibly be the same thing. What does this mean? So guys, here's the question. Aisha thinks that the two Aarons are the exact same Aaron, and she thinks that the two Marys are one Mary. Question, where did Aisha get the idea that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was the same person as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses? Where did Aisha get that idea? Did Jews tell her that? Did Christians tell her that? Where did Aisha get the idea that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was the sister of Aaron and Moses? Where'd she get it? Do you have a theory, AP?
Yeah, I would guess that it may have been Muhammad when he was one day having a good time with Aisha. I don't know, giving her a bath or whatever. Uh, Told her the story and relayed to her that this is indeed the same person. That Mother Mary, mother of Jesus, is also the sister of Aaron and Moses. That she probably got this idea from Muhammad himself, because if we are to trust Muslims, then we are supposed to believe that she knew so much, much more than
Uh-huh.
than all of these Sahaba, or than the vast majority of them, that she had immense knowledge because she was with Muhammad all the time.
Uh-huh. Hey,
Uh-huh.
look at this comment. I'm guessing from a Muslim. Who said Aisha was the ultimate authority on all Islam? She made mistakes. We know this. Why are you assuming that everything she or Ibn Kathir says is absolutely true? Well, we're not, and I think you've missed the point entirely. So AP was pointing out one thing, that Aisha is supposedly this great knowledgeable scholar. That comes up when we criticize Muhammad for having sex with her when he was 54 and she was only 9. So she was a prepubescent little girl, still playing on a swing, still playing with dolls, and a 54-year-old man, old enough to be her great-grandfather, put her on the bed, spread her legs, and banged her, right? So now when we ask Muslims about that, they say, oh, but the reason Muhammad had to do that is because he knew Aisha was going to be such a great source of information about Islam. And here she doesn't even know that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is not the same person as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses. So you're saying, okay, no problem, she made mistakes. Okay, that's what we're asking. Why did she make that mistake? In other words, I've never heard anyone else in all of history think that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the same person as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses. Aisha thought that. Where did she get the mistake from? What caused her to confuse these two Marys? What caused her to do it? The answer, Fuad, is the Quran did. Because of the Quran, she thought that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the same person as Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses. So the question is, why is your Quran misleading people? And why do Muslims like Sheikh Uthman mock us when we're reading the Quran the exact same way that Aisha thought it, according to what Aisha thought it meant?
That's a good point, actually, where when Uthman mocks the idea that this refers to that Miriam or to that Moses and that Aaron, then he's not just mocking us for suggesting this, he's also mocking Aisha and Ibn Kathir and so on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the Quran, and it was not an issue until Christians exposed it. But according to the Quran, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the sister of Aaron and the daughter of Imran. That's what Muhammad was teaching to Aisha. That's what Muhammad was teaching to his companions. Never crossed his mind that, hey, I need to clarify that we're talking about two different people here. No, it didn't come up until Christians find out about the Quran and then expose him as a false prophet. That's when he comes up with a different explanation. And here we are 14th century later. We're just supposed to go, oh, there's this explanation for why the Quran really, really sounds like it's conflating these two completely different people. And the reason is in Allah's perfectly clear speech, his perfectly clear speech, which leads people like Aisha into error, like stupid error. How could you not know? Guys, keep in mind, she's supposed to be this very knowledgeable person. She's learning about Islam and the history of all these prophets and figures and so on from Muhammad himself. She's in a community where all these things are being taught, and it never crosses her mind to think that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is a different person from Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses. Why would she have not picked up on that? Like a Sunday school student would know that. And Aisha, the mother of the faithful, doesn't know it. And it has to be exposed after Christians point out the mistake, point out the blunder.
Well, obviously, because she was stupid and ignorant, and all the Muslim
Yep.
apologists
Yeah.
today who are telling us otherwise are much more knowledgeable and much smarter than this little child.
Aisha, what did she know? What did she know? She's just some completely ignorant little bimbo that Muhammad was banging. It's not like she's a great scholar or something. The story constantly changes. The story constantly changes depending on. So if the question is why would Muhammad bang this little girl? Oh, it's because she's so brilliant. She's so brilliant. That's why she transmitted so many hadiths. And if she says something embarrassing about the Quran, oh, what does she know? That dirty little Lolita. You've got to love Dawa, man. Dawa is hilarious. All right, last passage. Last passage here. This is the Study Quran. This is the Study Quran's commentary on this verse. O sister of Aaron, thy father was not an evil man, nor was thy mother unchaste. And here we have the commentary. That Mary is addressed as sister of Aaron is not, according to commentators, right? So you can't say it's not according to the Quran. You have to say according to commentators who know that this is a problem because the Christians pointed it out. The Mary addressed as sister of Aaron is not, according to commentators, meant to indicate that she was the biological sister of the prophet Aaron, brother of Moses. That would be chronologically impossible. So notice the assumption.
Oh, yeah.
That can't be what the Quran is saying because that would be chronologically impossible. Yeah, we know it's chronologically impossible, but we don't think that that means the Quran can't be saying it. Calling Alexander the Great a wonderful Muslim is absurd. It doesn't mean we don't think the Quran is saying that. The Quran says all sorts of stupid. The Quran says that Jews call Ezra the son of Allah. But that would be absurd because Jews don't call that. Yeah, it doesn't mean that's not what the Quran's saying. So that's not a criterion for us. We don't say, oh, this is stupid and obviously false. Therefore, it must not be what the Quran is saying. It's Muslims who have to have that position. So this would be chronologically impossible, although Mary's father's name is Imran. So they actually say it. Although, also coincidentally, Mary's father is Imran, as is
That's just a big coincidence. Don't think much of it.
So many coinky dinks. Although Mary's father's name is Imran, as is that of the prophets Moses and Aaron, according to Islamic tradition. Some commentators... And here we got the explanations. Some commentators explain that the name Aaron signified righteousness among the Jews of this time. Keep in mind, completely made up. It's just, so this is funny. This is Muslim commentators saying what Jews in the first century, what expressions they used and so on. And so the name of Aaron signified righteousness among the Jews of this time. And so the title, Sister of Aaron, was meant to indicate that Mary was like Aaron in righteousness. We've seen that. Another explanation is that the name Aaron was common among the Israelites and that Mary had a half-brother named Aaron. Again, if you want to say that, what do you do with Amram? Show us how common that name was. Okay?
Yep.
The most widely held view among the commentators is that Mary was a descendant of the prophet. So keep in mind, the explanation that Sheikh Uthman gave is not the most widely held view among the commentators. So here you have the most widely held view among the commentators is that Mary was a descendant of the prophet Aaron, and the title Sister of Aaron is meant as a reference to her noble lineage. Well, why didn't you call him daughter of Aaron then? That's how you refer to descendants, daughter of Aaron. All right, so we got this. So
I just want to ask one serious question to Muslims who are watching this. I know there are Muslims watching. They're watching. They're commenting. Others are listening. But I just want to, and I know this question is actually totally unnecessary because it has already been established that that this is a giant problem and inconsistency and error on the Quran's part. However, just ask yourselves that question and be honest to yourself. Seriously, be honest to yourself. If we are to go by all these speculations and we are to contrast the knowledge that Muslims have at that time and today and the knowledge that Jews and Christians have at that time and today, can you guys really tell yourselves that the Muslims are or were more knowledgeable? In other words, who is actually more trustworthy and knowledgeable on the traditions and the history of biblical figures? Jews and Christians or Muslims? Please answer that question to yourself and be honest. You will be lying to yourself if you say Muslims, and you know it.
Indeed. And so, if we kind of put all this together, let me get AP's graphic back up there. So I'll break this down one more time real quick, AP. Give them the short version.
Yes.
Got a graphic there?
So, yeah, as we can see, on the right side, we have a particular person known here as Miriam, who is actually in Arabic known as Miriam, and who is known as the prophetess Miriam, sister of Aaron and Moses. On the left side, we have what is pointed out here as Mary, who is also in Hebrew known as Miriam, and in Arabic as Maryam, and who is the daughter of Joachim, as traditionally known, but more significantly, mother of Jesus. However, and as we can see, on the right side, Miriam's father is Imran, or Amram. But the Quran gives us three different sources in which we read Mary, sister of Aaron, Mary, daughter of Imran, and Mary, daughter of Imran and mother of Jesus. It very much looks like the Quran hears of Mary and thinks of the Mary on the left side, the mother of Jesus, prominently mentioned by Christians, but confuses things a little bit with the genealogy and gets it wrong and refers to her as sister of Aaron and daughter of Imran, also known as Amram, is explicitly mentioned in the Bible as father of Miriam. This is a blunder, a big blunder.
Big blunder. Yeah, so guys, me and AP give a pretty simple explanation. And guys, you always have to this is how you conclude that the sun does not go around the earth, right? Keep in mind, if you're just sitting here and you see the sun go across the sky, you got two possibilities. Either the sun's going around the earth or the earth is spinning and it's going around the sun, right? As far as just looking at the sun, well, that would fit either one. The more you find out, the more calculations you do, the more gymnastics you have to do to get the earth going around the sun, right? You have to start doing all sorts of, oh, there's this and there's this and there's this and there's this and it's causing that and there's this and there's and you have to end up with a lot of stuff packed in, right? This is the idea behind Occam's razor, although he was talking about like multiplying causes and so on. But the principle is used if you have like some simple explanation that makes sense and fits the evidence, and then you have like this ridiculous theory that requires all these additional unproven assumptions and speculations and so on, probably go with the simple explanation. The simple explanation is Muhammad and the early Muslim community, they hear about Mary, the mother of Jesus. They hear about Mary, the sister of Aaron and Moses, and they make a mistake. And they think they're the same person. And it's not until Christians point out that it's two different people that Muhammad has to come up with an explanation. Okay, that's our view. He made a mistake. Anyone can do it. People make mistakes. It's very common for people to make mistakes. And we're not ruling it out by assuming from the beginning that the Quran is the miraculous, perfect word of God, as Sheikh Uthman does, right? So that's a very simple explanation, and it makes sense of everything. It makes sense of all of the evidence we have. Then we have the Muslim hypothesis, which is that Mary, contrary to everything we know about her, had a sister named Aaron, or she's a descendant of Aaron, or there's just this literary device where you call someone sister of so-and-so if it just means you're righteous or you worship in the same way as that person. And just coincidentally, she also has a father named Imran, and so on. And the Muslims didn't know about this until Christians pointed out. And Aisha called a guy a liar for saying these were two different Marys. She said, "You liar, how dare you lie," right? Does it really? And you look at the Muslim explanations and they give all these different explanations. Why? Because they're all made up. They're all just made up.
Mm-hmm.
If you as a Muslim want to say, well, I believe the Quran's perfect, so I have to believe one of these ridiculous theories that make no sense. Okay. Yeah. Do you at least understand why we think this is like complete nonsense? Like from an outsider's perspective, when we look at this and we're like, wait a minute, Mary, sister of Aaron, daughter of Imran, and the early Muslims actually thought they were the same person until Christians pointed out that Muhammad had to come up with some mental gymnastics. Oh, come on. And keep in mind, we're also, in our minds, because I pointed out, if this were the only thing, maybe you could give the benefit of the doubt here. But this is over and over and over again. The Jews call Ezra the son of God. Christians worship a trinity made of God, Jesus, and Mary. Over and over and over again, Muhammad just has no clue what he's talking about. And so, do you at least understand why we don't take your explanation seriously? Anyway,
or just think about it. We are confronted with this whole narrative here. It makes us significantly doubt the narrative, the credibility, the authenticity of the Quran. And in conclusion, we conclude, just like many others, that this is a mistake and that the Quran cannot be the perfect word of an almighty, all-knowing God named Allah. We came to this conclusion because of these very clear traps, if you want to call them so. So it looks like we were basically set up. If Islam is true and we are wrong, it looks like we were set up here by Allah.
Yeah, because that's an additional point. AP is that Allah, he constantly brags about how perfectly clear his speech is, and he's sitting here bringing up some Aaron for no reason. That's actually a different Aaron than the Aaron everyone knows about, and a different Imran than the one that people know about. He's bringing up all these people knowing, does Allah know that this is going to cause massive confusion and that the Christians are going to think the Quran is a joke because it's making this blunder, and that Muhammad's have to just come up with some explanation that here we are 14 centuries later, we're going to be pointing out how silly this is. And you got Sheikh Uthman, let me tell you how stupid all these people are, that this is going to have to be the response, and he's not actually going to be able to deal with the real argument. Does Allah know all this? And if so, why? Why would he do this in his perfectly clear speech? Why would Allah, here's the question, why would Allah, in his perfectly clear speech, knowingly cause this confusion, so much confusion that even Aisha, the mother of the faithful, called someone a liar for pointing out the truth, namely that these are two different people? Yeah. Why? Why would Allah mislead people like he, according to Islam, misled Jesus' followers into thinking that he died on the cross and so on? Why? Why does Allah do this?
Ask yourself, would it be better if this whole statement, Mary, sister of Aaron, never existed in the Quran? Would it make us doubt less? Why is it in the Quran? Is it really necessary? Would the world be better? Would the Quran be more reliable if this quote wasn't there? What purpose exactly does it serve?
None, far as I can tell.
Nothing at all.
Weird stuff.
It'll give them trouble.
Hey, shout out to Mosh Cohen for gifting 5 Apologetics Roadshow memberships. Everyone who got a free membership, be sure to thank Mosh if you haven't yet. All right, so we're gonna watch Sheikh, since his video is short. We're gonna watch Sheikh Uthman's video one more time, and then we're gonna take a poll, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take a poll whether he actually refuted the argument. And we know we've got some Sheikh Uthman fans here, so we'll see what his fans think. All right. One more time.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. The Quran is so perfect and Islam is so perfect that the enemies of Islam, the Christian apologists, atheists, and others, they can't come up with any criticism. So
I stopped it in the same spot. It's like so ridiculous. If you wanted to say good criticisms, it would still be false to say that, but the idea that we can't come up with criticisms, we could do shows every day for the rest of our lives and not be done criticizing the Quran, Sheikh. So Better luck next time with that part. But we'll pretend he didn't say that stupid thing.
We show them clear contradictions.
That's like saying, and as much as they hate me for my powerful dawah, there's no criticism that they could point at me. Nothing. I've done nothing that they could possibly criticize. Yeah, welcome to fantasy land, Sheikh.
In the Bible where it's 21 and 20 and 8 and 18 and 22 and 42, so many clear contradictions that they have no responses. What do?
So many clear contradictions in the book that we go to prove that Muhammad's a prophet, and the book that the Quran affirms as the inspired, preserved, authoritative word of God, and I still can't answer that.
They come up with the most foolish arguments against the Quran. They claim there are contradictions in the Quran.
Yes, and even when they're saying exactly what Aisha thought, they're so stupid for thinking exactly what Aisha thought.
Which should not be surprising, because Aisha was stupid too.
Yeah, she was stupid. Why? Of course, she's a woman. She has half a brain.
Absolutely none. Now, some of the ones they mention are so funny that it shows you the perfection of the Quran, that how perfect is it that they can't come with anything better.
Guys, do you hear what he just said? This issue with Aaron and Imran, the confusion, which misled even his own wives and companions and had to be corrected by Christians. This shows how perfect the Quran.
Yeah, I take back what I just said earlier. Here, Sheikh Uthman just found a very good reason why this Quran verse exists. It is to show that
it proves
the Quran
it.
is so powerful that we are so pathetic that this is what we are going for. Yeah.
Yep, powerful dawah.
One of the ones they come up with is they say the Quran calls Miriam Ukht Harun, that Mary was the sister of Aaron.
And
they say,
daughter of
Aaron, the brother of Moses, was so long ago. How could she be the sister of Aaron? There's more than one person named Harun. This is so...
But Aisha and your companions didn't know about that until the Christians pointed it out. Then you had to come up with this rule.
So childish.
It's so childish that even a child, Aisha, came up with the same thing.
Yeah. To be fair, Aisha was a child, so it was probably childish of her to give that as an explanation.
You gotta love the Dawah guys. They're awesome.
And this is not something we're coming up with some kind of answers with. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, 14 and a half centuries ago was asked about this particular verse, and the hadith in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, the authentic narration, the Christians of Najran, they asked the Prophet Muhammad that how could Mary be the sister of Aaron?
And why did they ask that? Because they've been told to believe in the Quran. They spotted the problem. Not one of Muhammad's companions spotted the problem. Christians spotted it instantly, and Muhammad's companions had no idea how to respond. They had to go back to Muhammad, and this is his ad hoc explanation after the objection was raised by Christians. Then he comes up.
Just imagine, just visualize the scenario. Just visualize what probably happened there. Here is Muhammad's guy on the mission, on a task by Muhammad to preach to these Christians. So this guy goes to the Christians and he says, he talks to them for a while. He says, I come from this place, Yathrib, and I follow a prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he also says that he is the same prophet that who sent Jesus, the prophet, the messenger. Indeed, he told us that Mary gave birth to Jesus. And the people said, "Oh, Mary, sister of Aaron." And then the people went, wait. Sister of Aaron? What do you mean, sister of Aaron? Which Aaron? There's a long distance between Aaron and Mary. What are you talking about? Mary was not the sister of Aaron. And then he's like, I have to go back and ask, and I'll come back.
I'll get back to you on. I'm gonna have to get back on you there. In the meantime, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. And by the way, all these responses are trust me, bro. Right? Like, what evidence do you have that Mary's dad was named Imran? What? Trust me, bro. That's your evidence. What evidence do you have that Mary had a brother named Aaron? What is your evidence for that? It's trust me, bro. It's just an endless array of trust me, bros. That's all you ever get from the Quran.
So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained. He said, look, the children of Israel used to name their children after the prophets and the pious people. So it's not the same Aaron. Now, Just to illustrate that point.
And keep in mind, that's not even what the explanation he just gave is not even the majority explanation, not even the majority interpretation of that hadith. And he's saying, oh, this is so clear. This is such an easy response. And the vast majority of commentators don't even agree with how he's interpreting that.
But this is the explanation. And what is the evidence for this explanation? Well, it is Muhammad, who is also the one making the claim.
Yeah, who's the same guy who, once his followers found out that they were reciting the Quran in different ways, he said, oh yeah, Allah revealed it in all those ways. And they had no idea about this before. Again, why do Muhammad's explanations always come after there's massive confusion about the Quran? Then it's suddenly, oh yeah, didn't you know this? No, you didn't mention this at all the entire time, Muhammad. You didn't mention that you were revealing it the entire time in these 7 different ways. You didn't mention that at all. Why are you telling us now only after we're ready to fight over this stuff? Then you come up with your brilliant explanation. Same thing here.
But he's not reliable. He never lied. He always spoke the truth. That's why we know it is true.
You have so many Marys. You have Mary, the mother of Jesus. You have Mary of Magdalene. You have Mary of Bethany. You have Mary the
And don't we know these are different Marys? No confusion there. Why is the Quran the book that's confused on this?
mother of James. You have Mary of Cleopas. You have the mother of John Mark. And you have the Mary of Rome. These are just a few Marys I can name off the top of my head. Now,
how many Imrans can you name off the top of your head, Sheikh Uthman?
Yeah.
Imagine if we were sitting there going, how could Mary be the mother of Jesus if she's a follower like Mary Magdalene? Well, obviously they're not the same Mary. In the same way, it's not the same Aaron. Harun, the brother of Musa, is a long time.
That's weird.
That's weird because commentator said it was talking about the same Aaron.
Yeah. Your Muslim commentators are saying that it is the one, and your the child bride Aisha also thinks it is the same person. And also, giant coincidence there that this Mary also has a father named Imran. Amran.
Okay. And Muhammad's own companions were confused over this. Sheikh, why? Why did the Quran confuse them? Why did the Quran cause Aisha to be so convinced that this is this exact same Mary that she was willing to call anyone who disagreed with her a liar? Why? Where'd she get that confidence from?
It's because the companions of Muhammad were stupid. Obviously.
Yeah, they're all stupid. Sheikh Uthman smart.
And Harun, the brother of Miriam, is much later. They named their children after their prophets and their pious, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained. There are no contradictions in the Quran. This is explicit, clear. Assalamu alaikum.
Did you just say it's clear? He just said it. That's right. It's clear. It's so clear that any commentary you go to, they'll give 3 or 4 different explanations of what it means. And there won't be the slightest bit of evidence for any of them. And all of them have massive, massive problems.
It's so clear that this is a very, very seriously raised question that people have obviously asked you too repeatedly, Sheikh Uthman, which is why you feel the need to make a video about this and then call it so clear. I mean, this is basically an insult to all those people who are asking you because they have doubts. Because they come to you and say, brother, I have doubts. And to those who say, brother, I have doubts, I recommend keeping those doubts, noticing that Sheikh Uthman's response here is as lame as it gets. And maybe challenging him to discuss this issue with people who have this objection, like us, for example. I can guarantee you that Sheikh Uthman will never, ever have a conversation or a discussion or a debate about this with either of us.
No, won't happen. Won't happen. Won't happen. All right, guys. So that's Sheikh Uthman's response. I'm going to post the poll now. So the question is, did Sheikh Uthman Ibn Farouk, I could have used one of the other names, Ibn Fibbin, Ibn Footnote, Ibn Zina, Ibn Smollett, Ibn Ketchup, all those names, there are more. But did Sheikh Uthman Ibn Farouk refute the problem of the Quran confusing the two Marys? So if you think that he actually refuted the objection and that you agree with him, say yes, he refuted it. And if you think no, he didn't actually answer the problem, he didn't actually state what the real problem is because he left out all the other stuff, then you answer no. And here we go. There's the poll. So we'll let that run. You know what's interesting about that? I mean, at least in the commentaries, there's a degree of humility in the sense of they'll say, here are the possible responses. We don't know what's correct here. Why? Because we have no evidence for any of these theories. It's just these are possible ways we can think of reconciling what the Quran says and so on. Then you have Sheikh Uthman. He leaves out most of the problem. He acts like it's just an issue of sister of Aaron, not daughter of Imran, and not all the other stuff like Aisha calling a guy a liar and so on. He leaves out all of that stuff, pretends to give a response, and apart from that, it's just his confidence that persuades the Muslims. Like, these stupid guys, they're so stupid, they can't come up with one criticism, and they think this is an objection when it's actually the proof. It's actually the proof that the Quran is perfect. Look at this, it's the proof. It's the proof that the Quran is perfect. And they're all sitting there going, wow, can't believe all these dumb guys keep raising this objection that has been raised for 14 centuries because Allah, for some reason, made the Quran, put this massive confusion in the Quran. Never crosses their minds.
Look at these stupid idiots. They're just as stupid as Aisha and the Sahaba. And just as even almost as dumb as Ibn Kathir.
Yeah. Well, so this is Islam and this is modern dawah, guys. Their goal is never, ever, as far as I can tell, to really answer the objections. It's not their concern. Their main concern, their main objective as dawagandists is to sound so incredibly confident that their dumb audience, who can't even follow the arguments, they don't even understand the arguments, they're too stupid to understand the arguments, but they want their audience to think, well, he's so confident, he must be answering it successfully. Why else would he be so confident? Why would he be so confident unless he had just completely destroyed the argument? I don't understand his response. I don't understand what the argument was. I definitely don't know what the evidence is, but look at his confidence. It's so great. He must be telling the truth.
And
that's how it works. Yeah, and he's got a beard.
And because of his beard. Yeah. Do you have a beard? No.
All right, we'll let that poll run for a couple minutes so Sheikh Uthman's fans can come and rally some other fans to try and come in here and sway the vote. Take some super chats and then we'll check out the final poll results. When is World War III? Now. Well, not really.
I'm so bored, and I'm wondering too. Like, I was kind of excited that things are going in a bad direction, and that the World War is coming soon. But still, it's like today, no escalation. Tomorrow, no attack, no escalation. What's taking so long? What is taking so long?
Eastern Europeans still remember how they were treated by the Ottomans. They won't voluntarily sign up for another round of Islamic invasion. Yeah, we've pointed that out multiple times, that the people in Eastern Europe, they remember it more. It was a bigger issue coming in there. And even though you had Islam in Spain and all the way up into France and so on, it's a more distant memory for Western Europeans and Central Europeans. So the Eastern Europeans, they remember it more and they take it way more seriously. Prop Quran hashtag Allah be confused.
You know what I'm most so one of the reasons why I wish a World War would come soon is that how many movies are there? How many books? How many series? How many games are there about World War II?
Yeah,
endless.
We need new games.
Like, we are sick of it. I want more. I want new movies, new narratives,
new games. We need new games, and the only way.
Yeah.
The only way to get the new games is a new war, and then new games based on the war.
It's time. It's getting
Prop
old.
Quran hashtag, that's actually good. Allah be confused and Allah dementia. That's nice.
That's good.
Maybe the Germans take their no Nazis obligation seriously. Maybe they can smell the stench of the people who are the real new Nazis and are shutting it down. Germans just, they're not wired to feel some of the same compassion. It's like you have a nation of borderline psychopaths is all I'm saying. You can condition them to behave, Germans, you can condition them to behave in a certain way, but they can flip a switch and just become brutal psychopaths in a heartbeat.
Germans are based.
Germans. Google Sigmund Freud and the Jewish mystical tradition by David. How is that pronounced? Because it does look like bacon. The book is real.
Yeah, but I said I found it actually and looked into it, and
And you're saying it doesn't say what she said, and that you're
And I even bought the online version, the PDF version of the book, not to be confused with PDF file, which is Muhammad. But I got it. I also immediately made a word search. There is no mention at all on Baphomet in the book. I read a few parts. It is clearly an analysis that is in no way ill-intentioned about Judaism or Freud. But I will read the thing. I will read the book. I will read through it, and then probably respond again. So she's completely lying again. Surprise.
Who are we supposed to believe? She's got a way bigger platform.
That's true.
Exactly. Sorry, you're jealous. I'm so happy that my master plan of including breakdancing in the Olympics has finally been approved. Now the end of the West is certain. Ayatollah.
Why do people have a problem with the whole inclusion of breakdance?
We can have gymnastics if you can't have breakdancing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you going to have synchronized swimming, but you can't have breakdancing? That was probably the objection to saying, hey, why can't we have breakdancing?
Exactly. We should have everything.
What's next? Beatboxing? I nominate myself.
Everything that requires or any amount of effort on any body part or legs thereof in any way, shape, or form should be included in the Olympics.
And rapping should also be in there.
Yeah.
Why not making awesome YouTube videos? That should be an Olympic event. Sheikh Uthman's argument dried up faster than a stone running away with Moses' garments. Yep. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually in the Hadith. They say the Injil is the lost book of Jesus, but according to Luke 24:27, it's the Old Testament. That says that Jesus showed them from the scriptures, the things that were written about him before. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say that's the Injil or that's the gospel there, but yeah, you'd have to say, if Jesus brought some other book, why is he quoting these other scriptures if he had another book with him? So yes, you could make that point. Ayatollah says, bro, I'm wearing a fez, chomping on some Flintstone chewable vitamins, getting lifted, calling people rednecks and asking for their achievements right now. No, Muhammad Hijab said, don't impersonate his failures. Gotta love that video. I could watch that 1,000 times, man.
I had to watch it again later on half speed. It was amazing.
Since baby Jesus in the Quran says he'll die, is this a contradiction with the claim that Jesus was not killed nor crucified? So you're asking specifically about the claim of baby Jesus. He says in Surah 19, peace be upon me, peace on me the day I was born, the day that I die, and the day that I should be raised to life. This is actually a good example of what we're talking about with the mental gymnastics, because that's what Jesus says there. And it's pretty straightforward. I was born, then I'm going to die, then I'm going to be raised, right? Whereas the Muslim view, the Muslim view, given their interpretation of 4:157, is he was born, then he was raised, then he's going to return, then he's going to die, then he's going to be raised again. And they say, oh, you see, that makes sense. That could happen. Yeah, that's something that could happen. God can raise someone and bring him back. And so that can all happen. It doesn't sound at all like that's what Jesus was saying. That's kind of the same. It's the same situation with sister of Aaron and daughter of Imran. It really sounds like the Quran is confusing two people here. Just like it really sounds like Jesus is saying, I'm going to be born, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to rise. And that's the pattern. That's my pattern of life right there. So it's another situation where they'll come up with this really, really wild explanation when there's a perfectly good and obvious explanation right there. Namely, once again, Muhammad doesn't know what he's talking about. But here,
maybe he actually said, I'm going to be bored and then I'll die.
Mm-hmm. And so here, what you might want to say is this could be a reason for Muslims to reinterpret 4:157, because you've always had a minority Muslim position that 4:157 isn't actually denying the crucifixion. It's just denying that the Jews who were bragging about getting the victory over Jesus actually didn't have one, because Allah he died, but they raised him up, so he's not dead.
The Jews.
Powerful. Mosh Cohen says, I got to say, watching you guys live while patrolling near Nablus in the mosques, calling the pedos to come and pray feels extra good. That's good. Hey, let us know. Let us know when you're patrolling. We will always do a show for you.
Yes.
Finally, some Allah behavior I can relate with. Which one? We don't know what you're talking about. I'm guessing that's from earlier, so I don't know what that specifically was responding to.
But this evening, I don't know.
Allah needs to blow on hot cherry pie before taking a bite. Respect. Talking about Allah, the vagina blower. I didn't realize Muhammad.
Oh, okay, yeah, now I get it.
Yeah, cherry pie, get it? I didn't realize Muhammad was the original KY warming gel.
Yeah, was.
He was the original. So these are all obviously comments from when we were talking about Surah 66 there. The history of the 10 lost tribes, Anglo-Israelism, examined paperback by Rabbi David Barron. So is that a different one? No, you got the bacon one.
Yeah, I got the bacon.
Bacon. Pamela says the Quran is like its author of confusion, deception, Satan. Contrast this with Jesus, who was not the author of confusion, but is the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6, 1 John 4b. Praying for you, D. Wood, AP. Thank you. Thank you. Her, honey, I'm ready. Him, and then blowing. Yeah, I mean, we don't even like talking about people from the Bible like this, but that's what you get in the Quran. It's he blows in her. Look, Allah blew in her vajayjay, you see. And it in the Arabic, it actually says her farj, which if you look up a translator, that's like the P word now. It's not, in other words, it's not even saying vagina. It's saying the explicit version. It's what Muslims would think of as the explicit version. At least I've heard, and I've seen it translated as the P word.
They had a very peculiar way of speaking. There's also a hadith where Muhammad, when some guy comes and says that he committed adultery, he says, "Well, did you f her or not?" So,
yeah. The Jews think Uziel is the son of Allah. No, it's Uzair. Uzair.
Oh,
Ezra.
there.
Cam says they should make a Back to the Future movie starring Muhammad, because Muhammad definitely would sleep with his mom. Inshallah. That would be fun. Yeah, the original Back to the Future, his mom had the hots for him, which is kind of gross, but I don't think they'd make that nowadays. Sticks and knives will take our lives, but words equal jail. Yep, that's the new British motto.
That's beast.
Moses must be so upset that the Christians took his sister and nephew as deities besides Allah. Why would God... sister. Why would God reference some tiny, obscure cult's version of the Trinity as the standard? That's the thing, right? When you bring up, hey, this is not the definition of the Trinity, they have to come up with some... just like imitating their Muhammad. Maybe there's this. Maybe there was this cult of Ezra that we never had any reason to think existed. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Even if you granted it, the question is, why is Allah, in his eternal speech for all time, referring to groups that we have no evidence that they even existed? Why didn't he respond to mainstream Judaism, mainstream Christianity? Why is it always some weird group that we can't even find their existence mentioned?
I think it's just such excuses shouldn't even be entertained, and we shouldn't even be having
But they're entertaining.
Allowing to have discussions on these things, because these are pathetic excuses. Let's just laugh about them and stick to the actual point, which shows that Islam doesn't know anything. And the thing is, it's obvious why. I mean, Islam is ignorance. Lots of people are surprised when this is pointed out. I remember I was talking to Jay Dyer, and he was very surprised to find out how much Islam actually lacks in terms of contents, in terms of prophets and biblical figures and all that. But so Christianity comes out of the Jewish culture and tradition and heritage, you have the Bible, you have the vast collection of the Bible, of everything that people had for so long. Today, you can open a Bible, no matter what, which of the two religions and what denomination you follow. You can open the Bible and you can see the texts from so long ago, and can have the history laid out to you, can have the knowledge of the genealogy and everything that happened. You can have all the different prophets, like, I don't know, Isaiah, Daniel, prophets that are not even known in Islam, for example. In Islam, you don't have anything. In Islam, you have only the Quran, because that's what Muhammad brought. Muhammad didn't adopt the Bible, didn't adopt any of the other books that Jews and Christians believe in. He just brought the Quran, and Muslims are supposed to rely only on that, and that book is extremely ignorant and extremely lacking. And this is not, this doesn't have to be, an insult or criticism or mockery. It is just easily understandable that if you don't have the Bible and you only add the Quran to it, which is significantly smaller in comparison to the Bible, it's quite logical that you will not have all the knowledge that Christians and Jews possess when they read their Holy Scripture. So this is where it comes from. Muslims, when they try to explain how certain things happened in the history of the prophets, they have to go to Christians and Jews. They have to go to Christian and Jewish sources to find out. When Islamic commentators like Ibn Kathir here try to make explanations about certain figures mentioned in the Quran, they have to look at Christian and Jewish tradition in order to find an explanation for it. Because Islam is lacking and is not knowledgeable. It's ignorant. It's stupid. That's what happens.
Sounds like someone's as jealous of Islam as he is of Candace Owens. What?
Almost.
Sheikh Mawini here says, you don't know Amram, son of Black Betty? Oh, Black Betty and Amram. Black Betty had a child, Amram. Mashallah, weak hikmah. I don't know what that's referring to.
Beast.
But I guess there are people who will know that's what that's about. Uthman's thumbnail. Behind your heads on the chalkboard, it says equals 3. I wonder what problem he was solving. I don't know, but he's not supposed to say 3.
Do not say 3.
Literally in the Quran, don't say 3. And he's like, look, 3, 3, 3.
It's a very typical thumbnail which you can expect from an Islamic scholar, where he put himself as the teacher in front of the board, and you and Sam Shimoon as students in a classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're the students. We're the students of Sheikh Uthman. He schooled us. He schooled us on how to use a straw man. He schooled us on how to make a straw man and attack the straw man. Power. The undefeatable Muslim syllogism. 1. The Quran is the word of Allah. 2. The word of Allah would not contain many contradictions. 3. Therefore, Allah only made it appear to us that there are many contradictions in the Quran. That's right.
Wow.
Like, why not? If he's going to trick people into believing that Jesus died when he didn't, then why not trick us into believing that there are all these contradictions when there aren't? Because it's perfect, wonderful book. God bless both of you, and thanks for all you do. Thank you, Laffy Taffy.
Thank you.
Jay and Sam cooked Daniel and Easy. Easy. Is that his nickname? That's a Jaws. Need review from AP and David. Yeah, again. Matter of fact, we'll probably briefly chat right afterwards to come up with a plan, because AP wants to go after Candace, and we have a long debate to go through.
Yeah,
we'll come up with a plan.
But once we have looked into what Jay Dyer, brother of Moses, says about it, we will probably have a proper review of that as well. Yeah, I see people posting memes of Sam Shimoon holding Daniel Kikichu on a leash and things like that.
Oh yeah,
I really want to understand what happened.
Yeah, guys, here's the thing. One, all you guys had to do, I'm talking to you Muslims, all you had to do was just ignore him for the rest of your life, right? Just if people say, hey, why aren't you debating Sam Shimoon? Just say, oh, no, we don't know. He's a loser. Just say something like that. Right? That's all you had to do. Under no circumstances should you have actually gone on a popular podcast where tons and tons of people are going to see him just completely crush you. You should not have done that. You should have never been put in that situation, because now it's going to be in everyone's minds. Why don't other more powerful Dawa guys come and refute him. They're not going to go near him. They're not going to go near him. So now it looks like they're running from him, right? Because Myron's going to say, all right, who's next? Who's next? And no one's going to step forward. And so it makes it obvious. And then, so what are they going to say? They're going to say, oh no, he's not worth our time, and so on. Well, so all you had to do was not engage and just come up with excuses the entire time. The moment you put him on a very prominent show, you just screwed yourselves. We knew exactly what was going to happen. Again, I haven't even watched it. I've known Sam for a lot. I could tell you exactly what's going to happen. You put him up there. Anyway,
the thing is, it's that team, the two, Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoon. I mean, Jay Dyer already had a debate with Daniel Kikichu, and he publicly humiliated him. Mm-hmm. It's like
that's a lot of losses back to back for Sam. And then he got crushed by you, got crushed by Jay, just got crushed by Sam and Jay. So like I don't know, what's he going to do now?
He was, yeah. I mean, even Muslims themselves saw it. It was ridiculous. He publicly humiliated Daniel. He made fun of him. He held up a whiteboard with trying to explain logic to Daniel Kikichu and all that. It was glorious. And Mohammed Hijab refused to have a debate with Jay Dyer, so Daniel Kikichu came again. And as it seems, from what it appears like, Sam and Jay Dyer, both very knowledgeable and very aggressive. It looks like they did it again. We'll have to check it.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to have a bunch of Muslims throwing up smoke, pretending, oh no, the Muslims were so powerful. It's not going to work, guys. It's not going to work. Give it up. Stop embarrassing yourselves. Guys, if you could remove only one group of people from the earth, who would you choose and why Muslims? I don't want to remove Muslims from the earth. I want to expose their fake prophet. Watch them become powerful Christians.
I would remove all atheists, starting with
that's more reasonable. That's more reasonable. Yeah, if I could do massive changes like that, I wouldn't even want like some massive change to just change the Muslims. I would want all the people who protect Islam from criticism to have their mouths shut. And then the rest would fall into place. Love you, AP. You are pretty cool.
Thanks.
And you too, D Wood. Wish I could be your friend. You got to be super cool. You got to be super cool to be my friend. I don't know why I remember this, but the other day people were saying they want prison stories. They want more prison stories. But Kane, my bunkmate, was a pretty tough guy, and he'd been locked up a long time by the time I was there. But there was this guy, Roger, who's all buddy-buddy with us, and he goes, just out of nowhere, this after Kane became a Christian, because he wouldn't have said word before Kane became a Christian. Kane would have just walked up and balled him up. But anyway, Roger, this kind of redneck guy, out of nowhere, he goes, hey, Kane, I think you need a cooler nickname. I'm going to call you Twinkie. I'm going to call you Twinkie. How about that, Twinkie? And Kane just off the top of his head goes, hey, Roger, you're pretty cool. You're pretty cool, so I'm going to call you PC. Right? Because PC is protective custody. And Roger had checked in another prison and gone to protective custody before they shipped him to another prison. So he said, I'm going to... Anyway, anytime I say... From then on, you're talking, what is this? This is 20-some years ago, and anytime I see pretty cool, I just remember Kane going, you're pretty cool. I'm going to call you PC. Hey, PC. And that ended all the nickname stuff right there. That was a shout out. That was a shout out to whoever it was the other day who said, we want more prison stories. That's your prison story.
That's a pretty based comeback.
Gray-pilled alien trader AP. Oh, man, why is the world not ending yet? So lame.
I'm waiting for them.
What's gray-pilled?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Maybe it's like somebody who is betting on the aliens or something.
Yeah, we need to come up with some new color. No one's like chartreuse, mauve pilled. I don't know, chartreuse pilled. I'd rather fight World War III now for my newborn to know peace. That is that's from Mosh, so he's over there patrolling. But yeah, I'm not a fan of World War III, but I'm in gosh, you got to do something now, guys. You can't just keep handing off problems to the next generation and saying, we'll let things get worse and then we'll let the next generation deal with it. You're giving them a screwed up world. We should want to be fixing things now so that the next generation has a better place. Instead, it's just, nope, let's see how much we can screw it up.
Well, of course, we can make peace, but first we have to fight and kill.
When was the last time or ever did Candace...
I really I love World War. I just love the idea of it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did Candace, that's funny. Candace talked about Islam and Muslims. Did she talk to anyone about Islam cultures and named evil criminals Muslims? I've never followed her enough to know if she talks about Islam at all. I don't know.
There was this one time where she was told that she should be talking to Muslims about Islam, and then she invited Imam Tawhidi to talk to him.
Oh, powerful.
And then I had a conversation with him. That was powerful.
I like Tawhidi. He's cool.
Yeah, but she has kind of assumed this whole thing of lately, we were told all the bad things about Muslims. Mm-hmm. I've heard this narrative repeated several times from people.
And then we'll go with every insane lunatic conspiracy theory about Jews. That's all fair game, but wild stuff.
And I just read in the book of David Bacon that Jews worship Baphomet and believe in bisexuality.
Yeah,
and they want to make it the world religion.
That's true. Can we rename the migrant boats the Farge Barge? That's how they view it. That's how they view it. Hey, we're going to Europe where we can do whatever we want to these ladies, and they'll condemn people who object. Got nothing snarky. Yeah, got nothing snarky to offer right now. Just pitching in my jizya to show my support for my homies AP and D Wood.
Yeah.
And let's see. Daniel Hakikachu is on thin ice. If he fails again, I'm going to force him to shave his pathetic beard and start all over at square one. # beard law. That's how you do it. That should be. If Muslims get humiliated in debate, they should have to shave their beards. The correct answer is wingalings. Remove the wingalings. Oh, this is in if you could remove any group. Yeah. If I had to pick one, that would be the answer. Get rid of the wingalings.
That makes sense.
And finally, Hyperactive here says, hey, AP, I sent you a video on X about an Israeli scholar who refutes a Muslim scholar on Al Jazeera. That sounds like something. That sounds like something cool. Watching an Israeli scholar who refutes a Muslim scholar on Al Jazeera, we should check that out.
An Israeli scholar who refutes a Muslim. That is really interesting.
It is.
That is really interesting. I will check out that video from that Israeli scholar because it sounds like that is really something that we could do. Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at the poll results now. I'm clicking end poll. Because it's been up for about half an hour. Let's see. And it ended at 90% said no, he did not refute the objection. And it says 9%, so it must have actually been close. It says 9%. 9% thought he successfully answered it. I noticed that it was 5% for a while saying yes, he answered it. That's why I actually gave extra time. I knew all the I knew all the Sheikh Uthman fans who were watching would run out and say, guys, come over and vote on this poll. We have to defend our beloved Sheikh. This is hilarious. What awesome times.
You see, 10%, 10%. You see, he humiliated them.
Powerful. That was so powerful. And finally, are you aware of the Sam Kelly Powers debate? No, not familiar with that one.
Boost? No.
All right, guys.
What about Austin Powers, though?
We are going to have to figure out our schedule afterwards, but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Huge debate, AP's obsession with Candace, all that stuff. But we will be back here very soon with some super dope live streams. Thanks everyone for watching. You know, it's funny about that 9% who said yes. It's always like half of that is people who are just like joking. I know, because they tell me afterwards, and I'm like, oh, I voted yes for joking. That's funny. Anyway, these are fun times, ladies and gentlemen. And notice it is not looking good for Dawah nowadays. Went to Speaker's Corner. The Da'is all ran from every Christian who knows anything. They just got humiliated on Fresh and Fit. These are good times. These are good times. You see that all they've got left is just pretending that they're answering things like we just saw from Sheikh Uthman. How long can Dawah last? How long is it going to last, ladies and gentlemen? Not looking good.
Dawah guys don't last long.
They don't last long. Dawah guys are short timers. We'll catch y'all next time.
Inshallah.